Panera at Panera.
What a beautiful day for a ball game for humans and pooches. The second-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks finish off their midweek schedule at Baum-Walker Stadium. Bark in the Park Day ×2, and also the second game of the set between the Missouri State Bears and Arkansas Razorbacks. Hey, welcome up to the booth. Brett Dolan, Troy Sizzle Eklund, delighted to have you with us again today. Well, yesterday the Razorbacks found a way to knock off these Bears 12-7, and it felt like it was power and then more power.
Yeah, the long ball really came out for both ball clubs, and again, Arkansas is starting to swing the bats a little bit better. How about 19 runs scored between the teams?
How about a home run, a grand slam, 10 pitches into the game from Vahiva Aloy?
Yeah, how about 3 straight singles and then the big fly by Vahiva Aloy? That power swing is really coming for him. That's 11. How about Jared Sprague-Lott? Got all of that one into the hog pen, and with 2 runners on, Tag Gollert rips one deep into the hog pen. They really started coming back, but just not enough. Just too much power from the pitchers for Arkansas. How about 15 punch-outs, Brett?
Yeah, 15 strikeouts from 8 different pitchers. Everybody contributed at least 1 K. Jake Faraday finishes off the game. Arkansas did most of its damage in those first 4 innings, and you see the strikeouts, and the Bears did their best to make things tight in the 7th inning with that Gollert home run. But today, Arkansas will send Ben Bybee back to the mound for the start.
Yeah, kind of the guy that staple in the midweek for Arkansas in that starting rotation, and they'd love to see him go 4, maybe 5 innings, the big right-hander, and they might stretch him out just a little bit today.
Yeah, Arkansas a little bit thin in their bullpen. They used a few pitchers last night. I think they were maybe planning on using today. Anyhow, here's the lineup that Bybee will face for the Bears. Bogan, Paul, Kelly, and Stewart, the top 3. Gollert had the homer yesterday. Then Rodriguez, Sutherland, Chambers, Bergman catching rather than Dylan Leach. Appears like he's okay after that injury last night. And Epstein at short, bats 9. 77-degree afternoon, winds out of the south at 14. And Ben Bybee and the Razorbacks ready to take on Caden Bogenpol and the Bears. And we're off and rolling with a pitch that's socked down the line and right into the seats and out of play. Plate umpire is Sean Arthur. Mark Wagers umpires at first. Matthew Anderson at second. Jason Blackburn at third. And there you see the numbers for Bogenpol. He had a stretch earlier this season back in April, way back in April last month, when he homered in 5 straight games.
Yeah, the power is definitely there. And again, he definitely uses that 6'6" frame and stays behind the baseball and gets a lot of leverage.
Of course, yesterday he had 3 strikeouts. He walked twice, scored 2 runs. Bybee delivers one right around the top of the zone, doesn't get the call. Fans letting Sean Arthur know they care already. There's one rolled right into the ship. Stovall was back on the outfield grass. He'll make the play and throw out Bogenpol to begin the game.
There's that extra infielder out in shallow right field. Really placed Arkansas's advantage right there. You see Stovall, that ball was hit hard enough. He just sat there and waited for it to come to him. He didn't have to charge that one a bit.
1 gone for Cody Kelly. Kelly was 0 for 4 with the walk last night. Arkansas pitchers were generous with 6 walks, but they balanced them out and then some with those 15 Ks. Kelly, the Minnesota native, played at Minnesota before he went to the junior college ranks and then on to Missouri State. 12 homers a year ago. And this Bears team, they've hit 80, which is 19 more than Arkansas is connected for this year. Would seem like this is an offensive-friendly day at Baum-Walker.
I think that ball is going to carry a little better than yesterday. It's not quite blowing in as much from right field.
Bobby's 1-2, and he drilled Cody Kelly. Well, that's the one thing we did see plenty of last night, the hit by pitches. I think we had 4.
I think at least.
Leach was hit twice himself. Right on the wallet.
Yeah, if you're going to get hit somewhere, that's not a bad spot. That's when you need to have the big oven mitt in your back pocket.
I may have underestimated our HBPs. I think there were 5 last night. Seems like a high number, doesn't it?
It's definitely a high number. That's some definitely command issues.
It was kind of a nonsensical midweek game at times last night. Anyhow, this is Zach Stewart. He's hit in 12 straight games, leads the Missouri Valley Conference in home runs. He's second in the conference in slugging. Scored a couple of runs and a hit and a walk an evening ago. Just a sophomore. Big numbers.
Yeah, no doubt. Big RBI number as well, too, and that's why they've got him in that spot where he is, trying to really take advantage of those base runners, get a few ducks on the pond, and let Stewart come up.
I mean, he hasn't completed his second year as a collegiate player, and he's already driven in 106 career runs.
That's incredibly impressive.
Had a father that played on the 98 Missouri State team. And that one fouled back and out of play.
I'm sure that says a lot about why Zach Stewart's got such a great swing and really good eye up there. But Dad worked with him just a few days out in the backyard.
Flip to first, and Kelly back in easily. Arkansas with the win last night, and they improved to 11-0 midweek, trying to finish off a midweek slate without a loss. And every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we're in this booth. We're talking about teams around the SEC that dropped games, that were upset. Arkansas has been able to stay away from that as Stewart will wave and miss. He climbed the ladder, offered it one out of the zone. Bobby the K, and that's the second out. Even yesterday, Vandy had to come back and use 11 innings to beat Tennessee Tech by a run, but Tennessee lost at home to Lipscomb. Florida barely survived against Florida Atlantic, so always a lot of nonsense midweek. Arkansas has been businesslike. This is Tag Gollert. Found the hog pen with a 3-run homer in the 7th. I remember Arkansas had a 9-0 lead early yesterday, and it felt like we were thinking about a 7-inning game, and before you know it, it tightened up after his homer in the 7th.
Yeah, it was a really nice swing by Gollert. Had a lot of backspin on it, carried deep into the hog pen. I think he hit that one over 400 feet.
Bobby's next pitch runs right on the outside corner for a called strike.
So far, it looks like Ben Bobby's hitting his spots. Fastball set 94, 95 miles an hour. It's got some good life on it. Landing that breaking ball out of the middle of the zone.
That one's up and out. Again, DVH said last night maybe we're a little bit thin from a pitching standpoint, just because I think early last night we anticipated a 7-inning game. Then they ended up using a ton of pitchers, and he updated the media on a couple of Arkansas pitchers as well. And that one skied in the air, right center field. Wilmsmeyer will get there. That's a long path. We'll continue that thought a little bit later on, but Wilmsmeyer getting the start, covered a lot of ground. Dogs hanging out in the pen, and the Razorbacks coming into bat.
I'm a bird stuck in Larry Bird's attic. And I'm going cuckoo. You may be a legend on the court, but you're an amateur up here. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
T-Mobile savings, take one. Guys, focus. Here's the line. At T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits, and you can still save versus the other guys. Focus.
Hello, T-Mobile.
Hold on, you might want to
Okay,
just
stop. Just say it like this. At T-Mobile, you can save on every plan, and you get great benefits with Magenta Status.
Magenta status. Yeah!
I'll show you my magenta status.
Okay, I'll just do it. Check out the T-Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even pay off your phone when you switch.
Grilling is an art. Don't forget to add sausage, Picasso. Keep it juicy.
Jump to the jam, boogie woogie jam, slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come, flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Another Minnesota native on this Bears roster. It's Hunter Day, and he's making the start this afternoon.
Yeah, 34 innings per day, 22 punch-outs, only 9 walks, so the control is definitely there. He's going to sit around 90 with that fastball. Throws a slider and a changeup as well. Opponent's only hitting 233 off the right-hander, and right when he's on, you're going to see some ground balls. This fastball's got a little sink to it.
The lineup, Arkansas will run out there this afternoon. Will feature Stovall, McLaughlin, and Sprague-Lott. Kendall Diggs was off last night. He's back in the lineup. Aloy at short, batting fifth, and it's Souza, Holt, Roldan catching, Wilmsmeyer in center for a team that had 12 runs on 10 hits last night. I mean, the two teams combined for 15 hits despite 19 runs. No shortage of base runners. And here's Hunter Day. He was at North Iowa Area Community College in Mason City, and then last year was a weekend starter at Tarleton, so he and Jack Wagner would have been teammates. And that's pretty good number. 6-2 ERA, just a little bit north of 4 for the Texans. Here's Peyton Stovall. First pitch. Fouled back. Stovall had a single, scored a run right out of the gates, but finished 1 for 5. That's always a frustrating one when you get that hit right out of the gates. And
then you go 0 for 4 in your next 4 at-bats.
Smoked foul into the seats down the line and left at the end of that netting, and I think everybody's okay. I found an empty seat. Youngster got the baseball. It's the best way. Wait for it to stop rolling and pick it up. 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond for the Bears.
What's odd is they did the same thing against Stovall in his first at-bat yesterday, and then they threw him outside, and he shot one into left field. So if you're going to shift, you got to pitch into the shift, so you got to pitch him in right here.
And there's a pop-up, and this is going to be a really long run for Gollard, and he is not going to get there, and heads up. Sutherland nearly cartwheeled into the seats. There's not much give on that fence.
He hit that one really hard.
We had a fan standing up trying to make a play, and Gollard and Sutherland were arriving. Sutherland, I thought might, well, we got another baseball for a youngster. Sutherland looks like he's okay. Or is that the shortstop, Epstein? That's Epstein. Remember,
Epstein.
because they had shifted their third baseman.
I mean, he hit that wall hard.
Third time's a charm. I'll get it right. That's Epstein. He did not give in.
2/3 of the way into the stands right there. Stovall battle back to 2-2.
Day to Stovall with the 2-2. This is going to be a tough play for Epstein. He's going to glove, he's going to throw, and safe at first is Stovall. We talk about beating the shift. And I'm a proponent that hitters really can't do so, but sometimes you beat it through the randomness of this game by putting a ball in play and there's nobody there to field it.
Yeah, just a really defensive play, and I thought that the shortstop, Epstein, once he got to that baseball, I thought he was going to get Stovall out, but just great hustle by Peyton down the line. Bang, bang play at first base. You just thought it might hop one more time at that big hop right there, and all in one motion.
Well, I thought he was out.
That is really close. I'm surprised he didn't challenge that.
Here's Ben McLaughlin. First pitch swinging. Pops one up towards Sutherland. He'll make the catch. Remember, McLaughlin came on when Wagner injured a hamstring or had a cramp on an 0-2 count late in the game and then struck out on one pitch. I said, that must not have been much fun. He goes, no, that wasn't a lick of fun. But the at-bat was charged to Wagner rather than Ben, but Ben was in danger of not playing for the first time all season. So he got into the game and then pops up on a first pitch today. Are we all caught up?
Little antsy there, but McLaughlin, he's got to settle in and do things that Ben normally does. Just have some more patience.
Jared Sprague-Lott homered last night, number 6 on his season.
But I followed you the whole way.
Okay, I thought you did.
On your explanation. Yeah, that's always rough when you get 2 strikes and somebody else strikes out for you.
Even Wagner told me today that that put Ben in a tough spot. And I looked at him today when he was hitting in Arkansas, took their BP indoors, and I said, cramp or hamstring pull? And he thought about it for a second. I said, both. He goes, both. But it looks like he's okay. And then Leach took the backswing to his arm, the former Razorback turned Bear catcher, and they mentioned after the game they didn't believe it was a break. We saw him out there taking infield, and he looked to be okay.
He looked good, yeah.
So
maybe not
100%,
but he was making tags with that glove hand at the plate.
So maybe dodging some bullets from an injury standpoint for both teams last night.
Yeah, those are the ones you just hate. Those, you got to play the midweek games, but you just want to keep everybody intact.
Foul ball by Sprague-Lott for strike 2 against Day.
There's a sign of that sinker by Day. Just missed the barrel of Sprague-Lott, and Jared just got a piece of the top of that baseball right there. Not a bad count to run on.
Sprague-Lott has reached in 16 straight games. And he fouls one away. And Troy, maybe no surprise, you know, he's just finding his way up the leaderboard offensively in a lot of categories for this team. And DVH has been batting him third, oftentimes against left-handed pitchers, but now he's batting third today against a righty.
I just think DVH loves Sprague-Lott's consistent at-bats.
I did talk to DVH today briefly about, you know, his lineup in recent days, because he has more players this year that have decidedly different splits against lefties and righties. And when you do that, then it maybe takes a little more to decide who you're going to play and then where you're going to back guys in the lineup.
Yeah, I think so. You're right. There's significant differences. I mean, over 100 points either way.
Popped up right side, Rodriguez. It's a high sky today, and Stewart will come on, and Rodriguez caught the ball. Stewart caught Rodriguez, and the out is recorded. Let's see if Rodriguez is okay. That was a car crash. We might not be done with those type of plays today because there's enough wind and a high sky and some sunshine to make those adventures.
We just talked about trying to avoid injuries, and there's a couple players the Bears for sure don't want hurt.
Oh, goodness.
And Rodriguez and Stewart.
Your 3- and 5-hole hitters colliding, and that does give you a little pause when your neck gets crunched.
Well, Stewart's built like a truck, so I'm sure that did not feel very good to Rodriguez.
Running into me. Kendall Diggs did not play yesterday against the lefty. And he's hitting .245, 6 home runs. And Kendall's one of those guys that Arkansas would really like to get going. He went hitless over the weekend against the Florida Gators. And, you know, there are some guys, and I would be one of them, that if I was in a slump, the whole world would know it. I mean, my countenance would be one as if someone would say he must be about 2 for 25.
Right.
That's not the case for Kendall. I mean, he has the same kind of bounce and joy regardless. But 0 for 10 over the weekend. His average has dropped to .245. Remember at that Missouri series when he did a lot of damage, he was in the .330 range. So that's a significant stretch. A hot Kendall Diggs down the stretch would be well received by the Razorbacks. He was at .355 going into the Saturday game against Mizzou.
Yeah, he was really swinging the bat well. He had that shoulder injury. I think it really affected his swing.
Sure didn't help.
And then when you're not hitting because of something like that, then that affects your confidence. And, boy, it just adds up.
Ripped to right, but right at Stewart. Then when you do tattoo a baseball, someone catches it. Arkansas gets a hit. They strand a runner. One scoreless inning from Baumwalker on this Wednesday afternoon.
I'm your overly competitive brother. I'm ready for a rematch.
Here, take a free shot. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
get served.
Seriously?
Get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
Sorry, party's canceled. Waiting on the cable internet guy.
First, I had cable, but those cords weren't me.
So he switched to T-Mobile home internet with 5G. What a feeling! I have Wi-Fi now. I need home internet from T-Mobile to fulfill my life.
Get home internet from T-Mobile now, just $50 a month.
We want the market price lobster and to know the market price.
How much is whatever the market says?
Sadly, we can't have it all, except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips.
Final game for Keith Gutton here at Baumwalker, his 42nd season as the head Bear. He was 26 years old when he took over this program, and hard to believe he is the second active winningest coach in college baseball behind Danny Hall of Georgia Tech. Coached quite a few games against the Razorbacks, some big-time postseason games in 2015, 2017. He got a fishing pole last night, a couple of those, and an umbrella that harkens back to those postseason games when Arkansas and Missouri State were playing in the rain at 3 a.m.
I wonder who came up with that idea. That was brilliant, whoever it was.
Nick Rodriguez leading off this inning against Ben Bybee and skying one down the line in left, and Holt running into a sidewall, but it's out of play. Yeah, he enjoyed the fishing poles. Might have broken one of those trying to get it back to the dugout, but also
I think it just came apart.
Just enjoy the umbrella, the laughs. See the numbers for Rodriguez. Singleton scored yesterday. He's reached base in 24 straight games, so it's a team that's hitting much better as of late. They're trying to avoid one of the rare sub-500 seasons in Coach Gutton's career, but they're going to have to get hot. Maybe do some damage in the postseason tournament. Hard hit, past Stovall, base hit. So Rodriguez has smoked a pair in this series, and that's a leadoff single in the second.
A really hard ball right there hit by Rodriguez. 101 off the bat. See Stovall playing deep. It didn't matter. He just hit a pellet right past him. Tell you what, these Bears can really swing the bat. That is Joey Hawkins, the hitting coach, and he's the assistant head coach. And
he's probably the guy that will take this program over.
You feel like that's what's going to happen.
You know, Coach Gutton was telling us about this team. Their powers come on late, hitting the ball really hard. We've seen that. This is Sutherland, who takes one up and in. They've given up the big inning this year, and that's what they did a couple of times over last night. And, you know, everybody's trying to figure out their bullpen. It gets frustrating when it's May and you're still doing that, but it happens. You know, for Arkansas, though, Troy, and I teased this an inning ago, when it comes to their relievers, DVH had some news yesterday, and one of those is Colin Fisher is not going to pitch this week, and he's getting some opinions, I believe, or some different thoughts from doctors. To me, that means it's potentially serious for Fisher. And then we heard Hunter Dietz, who came into that LSU series when he hadn't pitched all year, highly acclaimed, big-time arm, and we won't see him the rest of the year either.
Yeah, I think they for sure ruled Dietz out, and again, we're still waiting to hear on Fisher. And yeah, he was kind of the other steady arm as a starter on those midweek games. It was Fisher and Bybee.
So for Bybee, as we see him today, you start thinking about needing a fourth starter, maybe in Hoover, maybe for a regional, what that might mean. It looks like Mason Molina is going to be fine. He'll pitch this weekend. But sometimes you need four starters in the postseason. And Fisher did wonderfully when he was out there in some of those Tuesday, Wednesday games. But now maybe a true opportunity for Ben Bybee. Good breaking ball and a foul tip into the glove of Rowland for strike 3.
And with no Colin Fisher, you think about Gage Wood starting yesterday, and he might be another thought for a starter. But, yeah, Ben Bybee definitely looks like a starter. He's kind of big, strong guy, can go deep into a ball game if he's rolling.
The interesting part is that I thought we would see Bybee maybe starting some of those midweek games early in the year. He had a hamstring issue, then had mono, and Fisher got the opportunity, made the most of it. Now Fisher might be on the shelf, and Ben Bybee seems to be kind of hitting his stride.
Yeah,
they've shared a role.
That's right. And the thing about Bybee is, since he did have mono, it seems like he was out forever. We were questioning if he was still on the team. We hadn't seen him. He was quarantined. But you think about that he's still getting built back up, and you think about how many innings guys throw, and are they going to be fresh by the end of the year? Well, Ben Bybee should be pretty fresh. He had a whole month off.
Here's the Bryan, Arkansas native. Logan Chambers faced his buddy Will McIntyre, who struck him out last night. Chambers went 2 for 4, drove in a couple of runs. Gackle and McIntyre K'd him. Will said after the game he has bragging rights now from his longtime buddy. That sucked towards center. Wilmsmeyer, though, was played perfectly. Back a couple of steps, makes the catch. 2 outs. Carter Bergman catching. Again, Leach took a backswing from Vahiva Aloy and had to leave the game last night. Bergman came on to finish the contest. He's 1 for 18 with the bat. I think we got a couple of Kansas City natives going at it right here. Bergman from, is it Ashahor Linwood High School. Am I saying that right?
That's a new one on me.
So now I finally give you one in your hometown.
I know,
and
I don't know what it is.
The high school.
He's in Kansas City, Kansas. It's across the border. That's my excuse.
Well, in a couple of years, the Royals and Chiefs will be across the border too, and that
I'm
pitch
sure.
is outside. On that outside corner for strike 2. Late afternoon baseball here at Baum Walker. Bibby's pitch fouled right back. Arkansas with the win yesterday got their 30th win at home, 30-2.
It's a lot of home games. A little different than the Bears.
Bears have 36 road games this year.
That is a lot of road games.
If you get per diem as a Bear player, you've done well this year.
Get some good per diem and a small appetite, you're in business.
You might be,
if
might
the
be
team
in business.
buys your meals every now and then.
At the Power 5 rank, we talk about NIL, and at the mid-major rank, we talk about more meal money or more days getting the same amount of meal money.
Right. Doesn't taper off toward the end of the trip.
Bibby in full lather right now, trying to end the second inning on his 30th pitch. What Gage Wood yesterday did was throw 3 scoreless on 43 pitches. He was really economical. And Bibby just misses a little bit up and a little bit out. Maybe more out than up. Jean Arthur wasn't biting. Looks a little Kerstad-like with that facial similarity. Wave and a miss. Although Roland's really going to have to track it down and throw on the run. He completes the K with a little extra effort. Leadoff single, no damage done for the Bears who strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the second at Baum Walker. This was last night. 10 pitches into the game. Vahiva Aloy connects. 4 score and a grand slam. It was the Razorbacks' 6th slam of the year, and Vahiva has 3 of them.
That's one way to collect some RBIs in a hurry. And Vahiva back to the Dragon bat. We talked about the Rainbow bat. I think he had one game against Florida, but the white bat with the red dragon matches his tattoo on his forearm is back.
Big wave and a miss against Hunter Day. So Vahiva's 7 for 10 with the bases loaded this year. Those 3 grand slams. Remember earlier this year, his brother's a freshman at BYU, Cahillo, hit a couple of home runs right out of the gates while Vahiva had that slow start in the first 2 weeks, maybe pressing a bit. That's fouled off Bergman. Well, Cahillo has 6 home runs on the year, and now Vahiva's raced by him with 11. So big brother is back in front in the home run leaderboard and getting some separation.
Yeah, getting some bragging rights against little brother.
2 strikes on Vahiva. Drilled to center. Bogenpaul will get there. Took a divot out of the grass. He couldn't decide if he was going to slide or stop, and he did a little of both, but he also made the catch. I wonder you don't blow out an ACL like that.
I'm telling you, just a pellet by Aloy. We've seen both teams already have some really good positioning.
The Hawaiian portion of the lineup continues with Nolan Souza, who has the best batting average at home of any Razorback this year at .369, 278 overall. Fought off and fouled back.
He just looks like a hitter. Some guys just have that look about him.
Hard hit on the ground at 109 off the bat, but scooped by Rodriguez, who throws out Souza. So a couple of well-struck balls, but a pair of outs against Hunter Day, who's living well here this afternoon.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking the coach in the dugout, positioning these infielders and outfielders. So the coach just says, pitch to contact, and it works out all right when they hit it at him.
Pooch is up on the hill on the berm today. Here's Peyton Holt. Peyton's batting average is the best on the team at .333. We saw him batting second yesterday against the lefty, hitting seventh against the right-hander here today. A couple of singles in the first game, and finally got a chance to talk to Peyton this afternoon about that catch in the deke. And he said he threw to third base because his thought was the runner was going to leave early and never come back. And then he thought at worst maybe they would throw back to second if that runner left early. And I told him, listen, I said, I think my game number of broadcasting between the minors, the majors, and college baseball is somewhere about 4,500. I mean, not quite to 5,000. I said, I've seen it all. I mean, I've had players umpiring the bases. I had a 5-strikeout inning at a perfect game at the big league level. I have never seen that. And he said, I'm glad I could be your first. I said, we always remember our first. And
that's awesome.
Peyton takes one down and out. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, you talked to a lot of people, and they've said they've never seen that happen before.
You know, but it's just his personality, right? I mean, there's that motor, and it's not just physically. I mean, he's thinking about the game.
Sure.
How can I make an impact? What can I do? Holt will lift one to left, and Gollert went back. Now he'll glide in and put it away. So Arkansas made some pretty good contact, but they also win in order. 2 complete, no score.
When I was younger, I played make-believe. Now when I close my eyes, I just fall asleep. Dream on, to infinity and far beyond. Maybe they'll take you fabulous places. Maybe you'll wake up right where you belong. But dream on.
When are sports more than sports? When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and NIL earning potential. When your stats include free room and board, nutrition and mental health support, plus medical care with extended coverage. And when your experiences, friendships, and development put you in the win column for life. For college athletes, sports just mean more.
No score as we go to the third. We got fire trucks roaring up to the facility in right field, Troy. Something going on? Is everything okay?
I'm not sure what's happening over there.
I mean, we don't need a game interrupted by a fire. There was a game in the big leagues last night that had a 2-hour delay that we'll explain more a little bit later on. That was somewhat nonsensical.
Not a fire, but it could have been a big problem.
Yeah, well below average. Pooches, though, are okay. Epstein, Bogenpol, and Kelly in the third against Ben Bybee. 31 pitches into his afternoon. Epstein went 0 for 3, was hit by a pitch in last night's game.
We talked about Bybee not throwing a lot of innings. He's only thrown 17 1/3 innings so far this season. So he should still be pretty fresh coming into May.
Pitches have some pop to them, even the non-fastballs. That was 87. A little bit up, maybe.
Like
1 ball, 1 strike.
Like a true slider, wasn't it?
Yeah, he threw one of those in the first inning with the same velocity, kind of firm. And, you know, you look up and you hear that glove pop, and you're used to hearing that with a fastball, not a slider.
And it's not straight. And that was a little slower at 82, more like a true curve.
In the air, right side again. Anything up there is not going to be easy today, but Stovall seems to have it measured.
It seemed like Stovall got his hands up late. Like he was really just trying to lock in on that baseball.
I think if you feel like you might have to move at the end, you don't want your hands up in the air.
That's true.
There's Bogenpol rolled out to Peyton Stovall at second, his only time in. Bears would love to get a win here today. Their schedule was set up in part to try and emphasize strength of schedule. They were at Southern Miss in February, went to Kansas State in March, played Kansas State at home, a couple of games against Missouri. But the wins haven't followed. This is the highest-ranked team they have faced since they played Rice in 2003 when the Owls were #1, and that was in the College World Series. That's where they played the Owls. Their one and only trip behind Coach Gutton, who got close a couple of other times during his 4+ decades in Springfield. I'd be curious to see what they could do in that conference tournament. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they didn't get hot and cause some problems in the MVC.
Well, offensively, they can definitely put up some runs on the board. And if you can just pitch a little bit and score some big runs and maybe some double-digit victories, you can be pretty dangerous.
2-2 from Bybee to Bogenpol. Good pitch. Gets the wave and a miss. Strikeout number 4 for Ben Bybee. There's some of their wins this season. Game against Evansville was on Sunday. The wind was howling out. They hit a handful of home runs. What, they have 6, I think? And
2 grand slams.
that was fun.
That'll get you up to 19 runs pretty quick.
Yeah, that's those are some games filled with some damage offensively. Here's Kelly. A little tapper foul. Hit by a pitch back in the first.
Brett, I've been really impressed with Ben Bybee and his ability so far to mix up pitches. And again, that's Parker Rowland calling those pitches, but the pitcher's got to agree with it and pitch with some conviction.
What was the pitch that he struck out Bogenpol on just a couple ago? It was in the dirt. Was it a slider down, or was it a?
No, it was a breaking ball.
Yeah.
But those lefties, he's starting to land that changeup. Even though he missed right there, I like to see pitchers pitch in. Don't be afraid to get in and maybe move that batter's feet just a little bit. There's that changeup right there.
That changeup, yeah.
That was pretty. And he's throwing about 93 to 95. I think he's topped out at 95. But the thing is, that's an 86-mile-an-hour changeup.
That's similar to a slider velocity.
Yeah, it's really hard, but it's just enough to miss a barrel.
That ball's drilled to the gap in right center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Kelly's going to try for 2. The throw skips by Aloy. Had that been on the money, it would have been close. But Kelly with the double.
Did not miss that barrel.
It did not. Bobby was trying to get through 3 innings in a similar pitch count to Gage Wood last night, who, by the way, afterwards was talking about throwing a splitter a few times last night.
Really? Maybe he's down there talking to Christian Fouch in the bullpen. And
might be.
Experimenting with something.
That was one of those. He was visiting with Bubba on the radio postgame. I thought, well, I need to go back and watch that game.
Yeah. I didn't pick that up.
Throwing it to lefties, I think. Here's Stewart throwing a cutter to righties.
The thing about the splitter is sometimes you don't know which finger it's going to come off of. I know you're kind of trying to pull both fingers down at the same time, but sometimes you get some cut action. Sometimes you get some screwball action. You just never know what it's going to do. Better be careful right here.
This is dangerous hitter.
Yeah, I think that's what Parker Rowland's going to go out there and going, hey, we got first base open. There's 2 outs. Well, I don't think you do like you do against Caglione and just put up a 4 right here and walk him, but
yeah, probably not.
Be very careful.
Careful is a good word.
I don't know if you throw a strike in this situation. Then you go back and you've got Tag Gollert, who hit a 3-run bomb last night, but you do have right-on-right matchup.
When Stewart was a top 50 recruit when he came in last year to Missouri State. Wave and a miss at that changeup, and quite honestly, I know Missouri went through a coaching change and whatnot, but I mean, if they want to be more relevant in this conference, they need to get players like Stewart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bogenpol, others. 2-1. Healthy rip and a miss.
Back-to-back changeups. Do you dial it up a 3rd time? I think you might want to go something different. Good opportunity, maybe try to elevate the fastball or bounce the breaking ball.
From 2-0 to 2-2. And a pitch to Stewart. That was curveball velocity, but almost slider-like movement. What do you got on that one?
Yeah, I think so. It didn't break a whole lot. Even on the device, we only had 2 inches of horizontal break, so it was just a little bit missed the barrel. Not a lot of side-to-side break on that one. Now you can come back with that changeup, throw it off the plate.
Pretty good battle right here. And gets the wave and a miss. That is a firm changeup.
That's a great pitch right there. How about 16 inches of horizontal break? This one dives down and away from Stewart. You can see the movement right there and the reaction by Parker Rowland.
Arkansas is one of 6 or 7 teams that have yet to reach double figures in losses. 2 wins away from 40. The earned run average jumped from 3.01 to 3.08 last night. Hagen Smith in line to pitch Friday in Kentucky. That winning streak had to come to an end sometime, and of course it would be a fabricated doubleheader that would get you a loss. Hard to win those Twin Bills, but Hugs keep on rolling, starting maybe a new streak last night.
Yeah, just incredible how well they play here at Baum-Walker Stadium. We talked about just every game in, game out, that the fans are there, and it's just a huge emotional support. And it's a lot talked about, just the comfort level. You have the same batter's eye, you're used to it.
Parker rolling up the middle and under the glove of Rodriguez for a single. So Parker's had 22 at-bats on the year. Had a big hit at South Carolina to the opposite field and gets a single in his first AB today.
Yeah, it's another left-handed bat that TVH likes to put in there. You know what Rowland can do defensively, which is he's a really solid catcher, calls a good ball game, can throw the ball well. And if he can chalk up some base hits as well, that's just a bonus. Talking about chalking up some base hits, this is a guy that Arkansas would love to get rolling.
I think Ty's over his last 16, trying to kind of break through.
Bears think he's going to bunt. They've got third base in tight.
Kind of stabbed at that bunt attempt. Came up empty.
Almost looked like he was trying to drag bunt instead of sacrifice bunt. Sutherland playing right down Wilmsmeyer's throat at third. He's just daring him to swing.
I think you have to at this point.
Oh, Sutherland took a few steps back. Now at least he's on the dirt.
Chop foul right at the plate. Rolling aboard to start this Arkansas third inning. It's a chopper foul. I was kind of beating some numbers through everybody's mindset a night ago. And I think the one thing, we get these incredible stat packs where you can look up almost anything you want. I was curious what Arkansas's numbers collectively look like in their SEC games versus their non-SEC games and what the difference might be. Troy, probably doesn't come as any surprise. Again, Arkansas 22-2 in non-conference games. Their slugging percentage in a game like this outside the conference is .488. It's .409 in the conference. Batting average .301 in the non-con games, .238 in SEC games. It's it's a decided difference when you're in this conference.
It really is, and you're just going to have to. Arkansas is just out pitching their opponents in conference games, and
even on base is .425 versus .351. So you're also talking about not getting free base runners.
Yeah, just guys that can fill up the zone a lot more and with better stuff.
One after another. Wilmsmeyer hanging tough.
a really good job by Hunter Day. He's throwing breaking balls away to Wilmsmeyer. Then he's trying to bust him in with a fastball. So you can't dive out over the plate too much because you're going to get jammed on that fastball. But, hey, it might work. Might be like a swinging bunt.
Wave it a miss. Pretty good pitch. There's the K. First strikeout for Day. You see last night the Dodgers didn't strike out the entire game?
No. Well, that's incredible.
They had 44 trips to the plate. They didn't do that, and that was Arkansas's first K. It hadn't happened in a Dodger game in almost 2 decades, 18 years, without a single strikeout in this era where everybody K.
Right.
And Stovall fouls one right at the plate. Baseball's league-wide strikeout rate's about 22%. That means 22% of every at-bat results in a K.
Sure.
Well, it didn't happen last night. Dodgers had 17 different 2-strike counts, but didn't strike out. That's kind of an oddity of a game.
That was the hitting coach to be patting myself on the back on that one.
Arkansas was just about ready to go through the lineup one time without a K, but Day won that long battle against Wilmsmeyer, and Arkansas still looking for their first run after scoring 12 runs on 10 hits last night.
That Day really starting to go to the off-speed stuff right here. Really,
he's pitching.
Keeping the ball down in the zone.
Mixing and matching.
There's another one right there.
That's a chopper that must have hit the shin guard or foot of Stovall and was called foul, even though it was fielded easily in fair territory.
Shot out like it was a hit on a trampoline or something. I don't know if I've ever seen one shoot that high after hitting somebody in the foot.
Each team 2 hits, no runs, bottom of the 3rd.
This is interesting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little mound visit.
Right when Day had really started to cruise just a bit. Maybe it speaks to not wanting to make a particular mistake against Stovall in a game that might not be as high scoring as last night.
That's like the punchline of a joke. Let's see what he's going to throw right here.
Well, it's laced to center for a base hit. That's the 44th hit of the year for Stovall, and Arkansas has a couple of runners on base with 1 out.
That was
whatever they discussed, that probably wasn't what they wanted.
Well, I think it was the right pitch. It was a changeup. It's just the location. You talk about splitting the plate. The location on this one is exactly right down the middle.
In a tic-tac-toe box, it would be the center square.
That was the center of the center square.
Yeah, that couldn't be right down the middle any more than that pitch was. Here's Benny Barrows, popped up to 3rd, the only pitch he saw in the 1st against Day.
So if you're Ben McLaughlin, you'd have to sit off speed right there. There was a changeup. You're going to see a lot of stuff away and a lot of things soft. And down. Everything's going to be down. See what happens when you got that changeup up. Stovall ripped it up the middle.
One number that jumped out at me from McLaughlin, you saw his season totals, but he is the #1 OPS on this squad. That combination of on base and then slugging. You know, he walks a lot, 40 walks, and then obviously gets his hits and does a little bit of damage, so it's a nice combination. He checked on a pitch that was down. Did he offer? No swing, says Jason Blackburn at 3rd.
McLaughlin hitting .377 with runners in scoring position. You talked about that OPS. He's almost 1,000.
Yep, he's close. Banging on the door.
That's some big-time numbers right there, and your OPS is 1,000.
Especially for a guy who has 7 home runs, what might not be at 12 or 13. Pops up another one, though, and it'll drift out to left. Goller circling underneath it, and he will make the catch for out number 2. Big pitch, big out for Day.
Went back on the fastball, did Day, and had good location down and in and induced the pop-up, and he might get himself out of this inning.
Still low in that pitch count, 45. Sprague Lot popped to second to Rodriguez, his only time in. even though Stewart and Rodriguez collided. And shallow right.
That was pitch 46 for Day. How about 34 strikes?
He's been around the zone. I mean, he has been effective. He's changed speeds well.
Really
even
likes
pitches like that are, somewhat intentional.
Oh yeah, it's just a little off the plate, but the location's close. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Day right here if he stays off speed. 2-0.
A chopper that kicks away from Sutherland, propels it to left. Can the catcher roll and score? He will. And Arkansas on the board in the third inning. See how that one is scored. Sprague Lott chopped one that Sutherland couldn't handle, and he couldn't keep it in front of him either.
Yeah, a lot of top spin on that baseball, and Sutherland just couldn't quite get to that hop before it hopped again right there, and it just kind of ate him up. Rolling off with the batted ball, and so he scores easily from third base. No really chance for Gollert out there in left field to get.
That's an error, no RBI. Arkansas gets the run.
He wasn't about to get rolling right there, and this is going to bring a visit to mound. Coach Petrie going to go out and talk to his right-hander. That was ruled an E5.
Indeed. Coach Nick Petrie, National Pitcher of the Year back in 2012. Joey Hawkins, the third base coach, has been rumored to be the guy who would take over this program, who's had just 2 head coaches ever. So, you're talking about
incredible.
Keeping this in the Bear family, so to speak. Springfield News-Ledger wrote an article a couple of weeks ago saying many believe Hawkins is the heir apparent. He was a shortstop on the team in 2012 through 2015, so he would have played in some of these big games.
Yeah, he's familiar with Baum-Walker Stadium.
Pitching change. Day was cruising. Hogs got a run. New pitcher coming into the game.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity. As if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. And if you have cut rate car insurance, odds are you'll be paying for that yourself. So get Allstate.
T-Mobile savings, take one. Focus. Here's the line. At T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits and you can still save versus the other guys. Okay, I'll just do it. Check out the T-Mobile savings calculator and see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even pay off your phone when you switch.
We want hot dogs and a body that doesn't look like it eats hot dogs. Sadly, we can't have it all, except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips.
If it's been a minute since you've been to Panera, you might not want to wait a second longer. More new sandwiches and salads, more in every bite, and more new options under $10. Come taste the new era at Panera.
Well, I mentioned that Dodgers-Diamondbacks game last night, Troy, with no strikeouts. It started 2 hours late because of this mess. Thousands of bees on the backstop.
That's just a few.
We're talking about a 2-hour delay. There's my buddy Adrian Johnson. I'm thinking, what do we do? Well, here comes the beekeeper. They got this lift. He was up there spraying. They had some like a shop vac type machine, kind of vacuuming them up. And then he comes out like he's a Vegas entertainer to throw out the first pitch after he got rid of the bees. And that was quite a night at Chase Field in Phoenix. Were it not for that man, there may not have been a game. But they had to wait 2 hours to get rid of the bees before they could play.
That's just crazy. You wonder if anybody was allergic to bee stings, and they would have been like in the locker room. Like, I'm not going to be around for this nonsense.
Well, Reed Metz comes on to pitch, hometown product, with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, 15 in the third innings for Reed Metz. You see the 13 Ks and 20 walks, so if you're Kendall Diggs, and he is patient, you might want to be make him fill up the strike zone just a little bit.
There's Kendall Diggs, line to right, his only time in. So back to the bee delay, Troy. There was a game in San Diego, I don't know, mid-2000s, before 2010, where a ball boy on his chair in foul territory down the left field line had a jacket hanging off the back, and bees started to gather much like that. And we had about a 50-minute delay in San Diego on an afternoon game. Waiting for the beekeeper, same thing, comes on, gets rid of them all. To this day, if I have somebody walk up to me in Houston that would say, hey, I was listening to you the day, they aren't talking about Matt Cain's perfect game or Carlos Lee's 3 home runs. What's about to come out of their mouth is when you talk for 55 minutes without taking a break during the bee delay in San Diego.
That's having to have some prepared material.
Well, it's rush hour in Houston. A lot of cars on the road in Houston as Diggs takes one outside. But
some people trapped in the car and just had
nothing to do. So they drove the whole time, 45 minutes on their way home, never got a pitch. Diggs trying to add to this 1-0 Arkansas lead in the bottom of the third. Kendall didn't play last night. Facing Mets. And that's lifted down the line and left, bending to the seats, and it is out of play. We talked about Kendall's last month. It hasn't been a great deal of fun, and hopefully he's okay with that shoulder that he injured in the McNeese game and then maybe bothered him a bit. A hot Kendall Diggs in these next few weeks would be huge.
Well, I think so, and he's just such a big RBI producer for Arkansas over the last couple of years, and he's going to give you good quality at bats. He's not going to swing at pitches outside the zone for the most part.
A wave and miss, and Mets gets the K to win the inning. So Arkansas gets an unearned run to start the scoring. 1-0 Hogs as we go to the fourth. Arkansas with an unearned run in the bottom of the third. A small lead as we go to the fourth inning. Gollert, Rodriguez, and Sutherland due up for the Bears, 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Would be an afternoon at the ballpark were it not for a few items. I haven't smelled the caramel corn up here in the booth with quite the level we did maybe a month ago.
I know. It was maybe just the way the wind was blowing.
I mean, on a distracting scale of 0 to 10, it was about a 32.
Yeah, it was one that would get your attention for sure.
Well, Ben Bybee back to work. 51 pitches through 3 innings. Gollert flew out to center his only time in. Toronto native. He was the guy last year at a couple of grand slams in one game, including a walk-off slam, and also had a game-winning home run against Valpo. Homered last night, singles here. So good beginning to the Bears' fourth inning.
A big night for Gollert last night, 2 for 4, and 1 for 4, but had 3 RBIs, a big home run, but really nice swing right there and trying to have the Bears get that run back.
Nick Rodriguez singled in the second. Never moved as Bybee retired the next 3 that he faced. He's the Charleston Southern transfer. Hard hit up the middle, fielded by Stovall. Should be 2. There's 1. That's the double play. 4-6-3. 103 off the bat. When Stovall got it cleanly, he could have rolled it to second and back to first.
It was hit right on the screws by Nick Rodriguez. You talk about count 1001, and Stovall's got that ball in his glove, and that makes an easy turn for Vahiva Aloy. The pitcher's best friend right there.
Sutherland struck out in the second. Bybee starts him with strike 1. All right, Troy, that pitch was 88. We've seen him fastball-wise mid-90s. Was that a cutter?
I guess it's got to be a cutter because there's not much difference in velocity.
I mean, that's harder than his other off-speed pitches.
Yeah, his changeup is sitting about 85, 86. There's the fastball at 93.
All right. Tell you what, both of these guys pitching today. Leadoff single, double play, strikeout, inning over. No shortage of SEC teams projected in the NCAA tournament. Florida barely sneaking in, kind of holding on. LSU, one of those not in. But, of course, what jumps out at me, Arkansas will see A&M At the end of the year, they'll see Kentucky this weekend. Maybe they'll see Tennessee and Hoover. Who knows? But that's a juggernaut up on top of that list.
It really is. And you can see the RPI right there of 3. Strength of schedule's decent, but again, the RPI is way up there and just where you're ranked in the country.
It's hard to have an opponent's strength of schedule at 1 when you've been 1 most
that's
of the
right.
year.
Well, that strength of schedule will increase after. You think about the next 3 conference series. You got Kentucky, Mississippi State, who's ranked 16th. I think what's Kentucky like 8th now.
Yeah, you've got 2 potential national seeds and 3 hosts.
Yeah, A&M at 1.
0-1 to Vahiva. 0-2. I'm going to try and find a way maybe to get to College Station for that series. It's also graduation weekend back in Houston, so I might be
that's a good excuse.
Pulled back for some other activities. That place will be rocking a bluebell. Ground ball to short. Scoop by Epstein. Throw over to Kelly in time to get Aloy. One shortstop takes care of another. There was a drop, but our first base umpire, Mark Wager, said after the out was recorded on the exchange. Fans don't miss a thing, do they? They were hoping that maybe that was going to be called safe.
I think you could count 1,005, and then he dropped it. They're still going to be arguing.
I was already writing it in my book, though. I wasn't watching. Souza hit a hard ground ball right to Rodriguez at second for an out, and is only at bat. Shadows trying to advance out towards home plate. They aren't quite there yet, but in the next few innings, it might be a pretty good contrast between pitcher and sunshine, batter and shadows. And we've only had 1 unearned run as is, so if the hitting conditions get a little worse, somebody's going to have to scratch out some runs. Wave it to miss it, a change.
Doesn't always work like the opposite of what you think it's going to happen. You think, okay, game 1's probably going to be some pretty good pitching. It's 19 runs scored. Game 2, you think both teams are running a little thin. It's 1-0 on an unearned run.
Aloha to our fans with the lays on. 2 strikes to Souza. Well, fans coming from all directions with the lays. Who knows? Maybe they go around town with those on, not just here at the ballpark.
Yeah. Why not? It's a good look.
I mean, that's a friendly encounter, right? You don't expect somebody to be wearing the lays to be in a bad mood.
Conversation starter, right?
It sure is. Could be. I'm not sure what that.
Wear the palm trees on your head. That'll work.
I'd probably leave the palm tree in the car, but I might wear the lei around town. Sousa's going to find Rodriguez again. Might want to try somebody else. 2 outs. Arkansas has the 3 hits. Rowland had a single. And Stovall with a pair of singles. One of those was an infield chopper to beat the shift.
There's not been a whole lot of offense today.
Nope. Mets came on to get the final out in the 3rd, and he's retired all 3 that he has faced. And here's Peyton Holt, who flew out to left back in the 2nd inning.
It's more of a home run hitter's condition here at Baum-Walker. Ball's going to carry out to left field for sure.
That's just it. You have those games in February and March where you just pound on some baseballs and they get caught on the warning track, and you think if the wind just wasn't blowing at all, it would have been out, let alone blowing out. Then you get a nice day where it's hitter friendly, and then you're not getting the barrels or the good contact to give it a chance to fly away. That's a one-hopper to Epstein. Waited for the bounce. Hogs have 3 ground ball outs to go in order in the 4th inning, shortening the game. Remains a 1-0 Arkansas advantage. 4 scoreless innings for Ben Bybee, and Dylan Carter comes on now to work in the 5th inning.
Yeah, he's another arm Arkansas would love to really get locked in at the end of the season. Carter, was he about 16 months removed from Tommy John? And the velocity's up a couple miles an hour. He'll touch 94 at the fastball. The slider is what they really want him to command a little bit better.
Was he up to 95 or even 96 the other day?
It could have been close to it. The velocity's definitely there. He was definitely got a 92, maybe 93 tops a season ago before that injury.
7, 8, and 9 due up in the Bear fifth inning, including the Bryant native Logan Chambers. Flew out to center in his only AB, so the Bears have not had a runner reach third base. Arkansas scored the one unearned run.
Last inning was about as quick as it gets. Should have the stopwatch on that inning.
Carter's first one to Chambers, ripped on and missed. Showed this last night. Will's father, Madison, tremendous part-time TV producer, sent this picture. Chambers socks one out towards right, heading to the scoreboard. It is gone. Chambers homers at Baum Walker to tie up the game. Will McIntyre got the better of him last night, but Chambers gets the better of Dylan Carter to even up this game.
Yeah, Brett, when it left the bat, you felt like it had a chance. Again, we didn't. The wind's not blowing in near as hard as it was yesterday, and he just found the barrel on that one.
That's just 3 for Carter. He might have been a guy they thought was going to hit a lot more than that for a team that hits a lot of home runs, but maybe he's starting a hot streak now. Just over the 365 sign.
We've got a tie ball game that quickly.
Carter Bergman struck out back in the second. Smoke but foul down the line. Oh, heads up in those seats.
Wow.
Down near the loge boxes.
People scrambling down there.
That was, she's saying that ball hit off her finger. Nothing will wake you up quite like an incoming missile. It's just off the corner at 94. Good miss 0-2. That pitch bounced about 5 feet in front of the plate. What was Sean Arthur doing? Did he say that? Was he joking that pitch was a strike after Roland caught it in the zone? Let's see this again. That ball bounced so far in front of the plate, I think it came up and almost looked like it was a strike.
He got a piece of him. Yeah, he was going to fight.
Oh.
Looked like Roland turned around like he was wanting a piece of the umpire, and just the way he spun around and looked at him, he said, "I'm ready for you."
We did a series at Louisiana Tech a few years ago. It was known as the Jalen Battles game. And was that a foul ball? Sean Arthur said the ball hit the bat. Bergman saying it hit me. I think he might go talk to Coach Gutton. Yes, it did, he said. Hit the bat.
I think this is going to be a review right here.
Let's see. Well, it's going to be tough to tell with those shadows, isn't it? Well, it went straight down, and, you know, this is one of those where it might hit more knob than hand, but it might get a little bit of hand. So, you know.
You can see the grimace right there by Bergman. I mean, from a reaction standpoint, it definitely looked like it got a piece of the finger. And as an umpire, you almost have to go off the sound.
Right.
Because, you know, it's going to clang off the bat. It's not going to make that same sound when it catches some knuckle.
We're going to review this one. I was saying we did that series at Louisiana Tech where Battles had that Friday night home run, and then Arkansas got shut out on Sunday. The huge crowds at the Love Shack coming out of COVID, and Sean Arthur was the umpire there, and you know, he and I sat next to each other in first class on the way home and had a lot of conversations. You were back with the common folk.
You're riding high.
And you know, he umpired for a number of years in pro ball in the minor leagues. If I'm not mistaken, I think Sean's an Oklahoma native. I think he told me that he was in Oklahoma City when the bombing occurred.
Oh, wow.
Like a few blocks away. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Let's take another look at this one. I'm going to really slow it down. You can figure that out. You're better than me. I think it probably hit more knob than hand. It might have got a little bit of those fingers, but I don't know what you do with it.
Well, the black batting gloves even make it more difficult because you can't tell what's.
I think the call's going to stand.
I think it's going to stand too. I mean, it's so hard to see. Like, was that hand or a knob?
About to get our verdict. I say it hit him. So the Bears will take the base runner after the home run to tie the game. Listen, when you're 1 for 19, I'd want to get hit by a pitch too. Probably not in my hand. Now Epstein is the 9-hole hitter. Troy, you know I'm not a big bunting guy, but do you think about it here only to try and get a second run against this Razorback team with the top of the lineup to follow?
You just feel like it's going to take more than a couple of runs to win this game, but that's what's going to happen. McLaughlin was crashing from first base. Sprague Lott is playing right on the edge of the dirt and the grass on that cutout over at third base, so he's going to be playing down Epstein's throat as well.
Stabs at the bunt, and Ben will tag out Epstein. I thought he might spin and at least look to second.
Yeah, I thought he had a shot at that. Again, that's going to be Parker Rowland being his eyes in the back of McLaughlin's head. Sometimes you just want to get that sure out. If they're going to give you an out, just take it.
So Bogenpol will bat. See it again. He was able to angle that towards first, and Ben provided the roadblock. Bogenpol struck out, bounced to second, and takes strike one. Strike called over the inside corner.
It's a great job by Carter right there. Went the fastball away, then pounded in. Really haven't seen very many change-ups from Dylan Carter. Pretty much fastball slider.
Pretty good two-strike pitch.
Bears still just with one out.
Big wave and a miss for the second out. And almost nearly came right off his head. It's just going to stay there.
He's disgusted. He just didn't even want to pull it back down. 94 miles an hour for Dylan Carter. That thing had some really good carry. It stayed on plane. Here in the booth, they had him at 95.
That's what I thought we saw the other day a couple of times.
It's got some ride to it as well.
Cody Kelly sends one to center. Wilms-Myers there, inning over. So the Bears get the homer from Chambers to tie, but they leave a runner in scoring position halfway done in a 1-1 game.
Well, not a lot of offense here at Baumwalker Stadium. The Hogs got to run the bottom of the third, and the big home run from Missouri State from Logan Chambers knotted things up at 1 right here. And Reed Metz is kind of settling in on the bump here, Brad. He's looking pretty good out there.
Indeed. You can just keep on going if you like. Text from my daughter. You ready for this one?
Sure. Dad, I need money.
Yeah, aren't y'all lucky to have the district MVP in y'all's something or other?
Nice.
So, district MVP. How about that?
There you go. That's a proud daddy.
Parker Rowland leads off the bottom of the 5th inning.
Good job, Kate.
How about that? I thought she was in a pretty good spot for that about 3/4 of the way through the season. I thought the last quarter might have cost her that, but Away we go. Mets came on to get the final out in the third inning after Arkansas had scored the unearned run. It was Rowland who singled up the middle, and then he would score on a ground ball from Sprague Lott that kicked away from Sutherland at third base.
With blinding speed, he scored from second base.
He did. On the corner for a called strike.
It's one of those ones that Parker's going to say, hey, I want that when I'm catching.
Kicked away from Bergman.
That off the plate, or what did that hit?
I was wondering too. It had kind of a thud sound to it, didn't it? And
it
we're sitting
like
so
it hit
low
off the plate,
that
but you wouldn't think the plate would have a lip or an edge on it, but it just popped straight up.
I might have to see that one again. That's ball 4. During an Arkansas softball game at LSU over the weekend, Arkansas's catcher Kennedy Miller didn't catch it cleanly on a swing and a miss. The ball pops out of her glove, goes in the air, lands on top of the helmet of the hitter, then drops to the ground. They pick it up and tag her out.
Oh, man.
I hadn't seen that one before either. Did this hit the front of the plate or what? Oh, just skipped
off the ground, off the catcher's mitt. I think that was the thud. Look, a changeup that Reed Metz just kind of turned over a little bit. Seen that fastball? We're up there 91, 92.
See if Wilmsmeyer's now bunting. He doesn't show, and he takes strike 1. Wilmsmeyer again. He's trying to fight through a stretch that's not a lot of fun. 0 for 17, so you know, you hope that just one hit can kind of propel you in a streak in the other direction. You know, a 5 out of 7 or something like that, just to crank it up again.
Sometimes you wonder, are they going to let him fake a bunt and pull it back and slash at it, or slug bunt? But not a lot of movement by the Bears defense, so that usually is very effective when you got guys scrambling all over the place. That middle infield's pretty locked down.
Off and rolling goes Rowland. How about the hit and run that doesn't result in a ball in play, but the catcher gets the stolen base anyhow? Goodness, DVH, you're going into the bag of tricks.
That's when you're just kind of holding your breath when that ball is swung through by Wilmsmeyer, and the catcher, Bergman, just couldn't quite get the grip right here. Rowland gets a pretty decent jump, but watch Bergman. The ball just pops right out of his hand.
What would it take for Rowland to get a stolen base?
A miscue by the catcher.
So he scored from second on a ball that gets into the outfield. This one should be caught and is. So Wilmsmeyer retired. All right, I got the media guy out. It would really help if it was alphabetically organized, but I'll get there. Page 52, Troy, if you could, here we go. Do you think Rowland has a stolen base in his career?
I'm saying he's got 3.
That's number 1. You just saw it right there.
He's going to talk about that for a week and a half.
More than 80 career games. That's the first, and you were here to see it. Well, Stovall has 2 of the 3 Razorback hits.
You can definitely see the approach against Stovall by these Bear pitchers. They've been really trying to keep the baseball away from him, and you can tell the left fielder's really swung around toward the line, maybe about 10 feet more than you normally would be for a left-handed hitter. You see way away, soft away, hard away.
All right, if Rowland scores on a base hit on a close play, he will have done that twice in addition to a stolen base.
Blazing speed by Parker Rowland.
Shortstop Epstein's not letting him get that secondary lead. Time for Stovall to try and hit one off the building. That's a good pitch. Paints that corner, down and out, but in the zone for strike one.
Yeah, just a total pitcher's pitch right there, and that's sometimes there's good takes with 2 balls, no strikes. That was a good take, but a great pitch.
Chopper towards Rodriguez, thrown across his body, and it wasn't scooped. And here comes Rowland, lumbering down the line, and it's Parker Rowland's feet that's caused the most problems in the game. He scored both runs, and the Razorbacks have a 2-1 lead.
That's just a heads-up play by Parker Rowland right there. Sometimes you can see everybody's getting him a hard time. Got a big smile on his face.
He scored on 2 errors and had to score from second base on both.
Stovall just hooks that baseball, pitch out of the zone. Rodriguez gets around it, and Rowland, you can see Thompson trying to encourage him to get home.
He says, "I've got it, leave me alone." Got to see that play at first again. I don't know if
it was a ball in the dirt.
Yeah,
that
whether Kelly could have had it or just didn't get it.
No, I think he had a shot at it, just short hopped him and just caught him right there on the heel of that glove.
They're going to give this as both an infield single and an E4. And once that ball kicked away, it just didn't drop at his feet. It rolled about 30 feet away.
Yeah, that's one that Kelly, if he just would have had a chance to get a little bit better extension out there, I would think he would have been able to short hop that baseball.
McLaughlin's 0 for 2. He's hit the ball in the air twice.
Well, how about the walk to Parker Rowland to come around to score? They usually just come back to haunt you, don't they?
Sure do. That's the first walk of the day, and it scores.
I think if there was 2 outs, I'd try to run Peyton Stovall right here, but just with 1 out, you want to keep him at first base. The left-handed hitter McLaughlin, give him a bigger hole to hit through on that right side.
I'll tell you what, this game has not been filled with heroic performances and whatnot, just kind of eking out a few runs here or there. It's like the football game that has a couple of field goals in the third quarter and kind of waiting for someone to break through.
6-0 if it's a football game.
Yeah, kind of a 6-3 type game right now with a couple of field goals, a couple of Cam Little specials. Don't suppose Bobby Petrino's here this weekend, do you, or this for this series?
Maybe.
His ties to these schools?
He might be in the box next to us.
That's down 3-1.
See if Reed Metz tries to continue to stay away from those left-handed hitters of Arkansas.
He has kept Arkansas from really being able to square up a pitch. That's ball 4, but a patient Ben McLaughlin walks for the 41st time. I said it last night, Troy, in all the various offensive categories in the SEC, there's only one Razorback in any of the top 10, top 15. McLaughlin in on-base percentage and walks, and he's willing to take another one.
Yeah, 464 in on-base percentage.
Basically means you're getting on base every other time.
That's going to do it for Reed Metz.
Faced 8 batters. Pitching change for the Bears. New hurler coming into the game. It's Eric Loomis. We'll tell you more when you come back.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity. As if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. And if you have cut rate car insurance, odds are you'll be paying for that yourself. So get Allstate.
T-Mobile savings, take one. Guys, focus. Here's the line. At T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits and you can still save versus the other guys. Focus.
Hello, T-Mobile. Oh, that you might want to
Okay,
just
stop. Just say it like this. At T-Mobile, you can save on every plan and you get great benefits with Magenta Status.
Magenta status. Yeah!
I'll show you my magenta status.
Okay, I'll just do it. Check out the T-Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even pay off your phone when you switch.
Grilling is an art. Don't forget to add sausage, Picasso. Keep it juicy.
Jump to the jam, boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come, flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Here's this week's featured softball game over on the SEC Network and ESPN app. Number 3, Tennessee, tops of the conference. Hosts number 24, Kentucky, to start a 3-game series at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium in Knoxville. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern and 6 Central. Third pitcher into the game for the Bears, it's Eric Loomis.
Yeah, Loomis has got a real arm. He's going to sit in that low to mid-90s with that fastball. See the 20 innings, but 24 punch-outs. Control's been a little bit of an issue. Velocity's definitely there. He'll throw the slider and the changeup as well. Team's hitting .299 against Loomis.
Ready to face Jared Sprague-Lott. Just one out this inning, a run home. I don't think Coach Gutton is dancing, but raising the roof. I think he's moving his outfielders.
He's doing some positioning.
All right. Sprague-Lott's 0 for 2.
Got 94 on the board, 95 up here in the booth on that last pitch.
Giddy up.
It's got some life to it, that's for sure. Not sure where that one missed. Called a ball.
Yeah, looked like that was in the strike zone, no call. Sprague-Lott homered a night ago into the hog pen. Well, that's a pretty good pitch to swing at right there.
Well, if he had the take sign on, you would doubt that he would. That's the one you want.
I would doubt that.
That was the one you want. Loomis has kind of got that 3/4 release and gets on the side of the baseball, and that
it's slinging.
That thing is it's running into right-handers. You might see a fastball that starts down the middle really saw off a right-handed batter for Arkansas.
Still ball at second, McLaughlin at first. Strike 2. Arkansas has not had an extra base hit in this game. And that is ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
We did show Loomis with the 24 strikeouts in 20 innings, but he did have 18 walks in those 20 innings, which you almost get a walk an inning. That is a lot.
Bear hats come out. It was a couple of Fridays ago when Arkansas was at South Carolina. The Hogs won 2-1 against the Gamecocks in a Hagen-Smith start. Arkansas didn't have a run-scoring hit. They scored a run on a sac fly. They scored a run on a wild pitch. The softball team was playing a 9-inning game. There wasn't a single extra base hit in the entire game from either team.
Wow.
And Kendall Diggs takes a strike over the inside corner at 94. Arkansas hasn't had an extra base hit, but they lead, and one mighty swing from that man might really provide some separation. Diggs is 0 for 2.
Well, you know you're going to get velocity right here if you're Kendall Diggs. It's just, you just got to lock in to make sure that the pitch is in the zone. But you can see what he's done in non-conference games versus conference.
Remember, he used to be the guy a year ago you wanted in the box with the bases loaded because of his penchant for big swings. He came into this year 8 of 17 in his career with the bases loaded, which of course is a huge number.
This is going to be the pitch you're going to want right here if you're Kendall Diggs.
And a 2-1 to Kendall, up and in. So again, the patient Diggs has worked the count to his favor. Now can he take advantage?
Loomis has shown that he can elevate that fastball. Sometimes it'll carry up out of the zone.
Arkansas has hit 6 grand slams this year. Kendall was trying to make it number 7. Came up empty.
It was power versus power right there.
Got St. Louis against Kansas City battling as well here in this matchup. Bases loaded, full count, and a pitch to Diggs. Hit a mile in the air to right. He just got under this one. Stewart waiting for it to come down. He's going to make the catch. Stovall's going to tag. The throw goes to second. Diggs gets the sac fly. Arkansas hasn't driven in a run with a hit in this game, but they have a 3-1 lead.
Sometimes if you just miss one, it's nice just to get the sac fly if you're Kendall Diggs.
Sure is.
You just want to be productive in that situation.
RBI number 27 for Diggs.
Nate Thompson's going to have a little conversation with Vahiva Aloy.
You got to tuck those things back in now.
Yeah,
when the bases aren't loaded. I mean, what's the time limit to put it away after the bases are no longer loaded? Is there a timer, a countdown?
I think it's just all in due time.
Personal choice.
You got to keep yourself occupied right here during this conversation.
Yeah.
It's offensive timeout.
I guess you get a little more time then if it's an offensive
That's right.
timeout.
It's kind of like changing pitchers. We get a little extra time up here in the booth.
Arkansas fans hated the offensive timeouts earlier this year, and now they've just kind of bought in.
Yeah.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, it's okay if it's on our side.
Vahiva Aloy looks at a spinner that finishes maybe above the belt.
This would be dodging a big bullet right here. If you're a Missouri State fan, if you can get out of here just with a pair of runs, you feel like you're still in this ball game the way their team swings the bat. Boy,
to me, that pitch, you see it, but it doesn't mean that you can square that thing up.
That is a dynamite location on a slow slider.
I mean, that thing starts spinning, and you see it tailing away from you as a right-handed hitter, but it doesn't mean that it's easy to square up unless maybe you're thinking right center. And then he comes in, and Vahiva happy to have his hands still operable.
About 3 off-speed pitches in a row.
Two and one. So no extra base hits, no run scoring hits, but a 3-1 Razorback lead. And, you know, we've talked all year about a similar formula to winning games. Usually involves good pitching and then kind of persistent offense. Making the most of an opportunity here or there to scratch out some runs, hoping for a big swing, and that one's big but foul. Off the facade of the suites and landing back down.
There's a ton of room in right center field. Stewart, the right fielder, has swung way around closer to the line. You can see, look at all that room out there in right center field.
Fought off, fouled back.
95 by Loomis right there.
He reached back for a little extra MPH.
I think if you're a lawyer right here, you just can't chase that ball up.
McLaughlin at second, Spraglott at first. Well, he didn't chase it up. Now the runners will be able to take off. A ball to the gap. should score a pair. There they go. Here's the 3-2, and Vahiva got a piece to foul it off Bergman, I think, and stay alive. Usually in a stretch like this, when there's a lot of nothing going on, eventually something happens. I keep thinking with each pitch that maybe this will be the pitch where something happens, but it's been a lot of nothing.
We'll see if Eloy can't change that right here.
Hammered again, same spot. One went off the railing of the suite. That one went in and then bounced out. Someone's got to make a play up there.
And pretty good ricochet catch right there.
You need some SPF in that section. Another payoff pitch on the way to Eloy, and another foul ball. This time he'll try the suites on the right side of the stadium.
Credit to Loomis for continuing to pound the strike zone.
I'll say.
A lot of times you see guys, especially with a little bit of control issues, that they just let one get away. They can't throw those 3, 4, 5 strikes in a row.
This will be the 11th pitch of this extended at bat. Runners go. Another pitch to Eloy. Why not make it a dirty dozen? McLaughlin's getting in his cardio for the day.
They keep going slower and slower back to that base.
Loomis to Eloy with the 12th pitch of this at bat. Loomis won it. Arkansas gets 2 runs, Troy, on an infield hit. That's it. They'll take them, I guess.
Not a lot of offense this inning, but Arkansas found a way to get something out of it. But the high fastball by Eric Loomis made Eloy expand that strike zone. It's 3-1 Hogs.
Well, Troy, it's a barn burner as we go to the 6th.
All kinds of action going on. I had 19 runs yesterday. When you think there's going to be more pitching, and then today you think there's going to be less. How about 8 total hits through 5 innings?
That was quite a sequence, though, with Loomis going 12 pitches to get that K on Eloy to end the inning.
Yeah, again, he has too much life in that fastball for Eloy to chase up in the zone, and that's such a hard pitch to lay off of it. You know why you're trying to protect, but it just has so much life, and it's going to carry and stay up out of the zone.
Stewart has struck out twice today, facing Carter. Back for a second inning of work. Carter was greeted by a home run from Logan Chambers to tie up the game at 1, but stranded a runner in scoring position. Arkansas pushed across 2 runs on 3 walks, a sac fly, an infield single, and an error. $18 homers, 45 knocked in for Zach Stewart. When you start throwing out names like Ryan Howard for his freshman season and what he did, the Philly, not the Dunder Mifflin employee, it really gets your attention. Jake Berger, another one of those big-time Bears, but Ryan Howard obviously was a name I think people still remember. Stewart, 61 RBIs. Howard had 66.
That's just incredible.
32 extra base hits, 18 doubles. You know, Berger was a guy that Nate Thompson coached when he was at Missouri State. He's with the Marlins right now. I don't think he's healthy. He played in St. Louis, his hometown, when the Cardinals had their opening day a couple of weeks ago. This one skied into shallow left. Eloy going out, coming in as Holt. He'll make the catch. So keep in mind that Berger Grew up in St. Louis, a Cardinals fan. His manager is Skip Schumacher, former Cardinal. Playing at Busch Stadium, hit 2 home runs, one in Big Mac land. Scott Rowland was his idol. He was there, the Cardinal greats. I mean, you're talking about a moment for a former Bear that
That's right.
might have been the biggest moment of his life.
I don't know if his feet ever touched the field in those games. Yeah, Jake Berger, he could really swing the bat.
I mean, sometimes when reality exceeds your dreams, you know it's a special day.
That's right.
There was a nice article in the St. Louis paper. I was there that day, and I brought it home for Nate Thompson and left it for him in his office because I thought, you love to see your former guys, regardless of what school they're at, have success at the next level. Gollard has one of the 4 hits for the Bears. He's going to chop one foul outside the line at third base. We'll give you an update maybe in that Mississippi State series on some Pro Hawks. It was exciting for Arkansas fans to see Heston Kjerstad called up after terrorizing AAA to start this season.
You just wonder what Kjerstad would have done in that COVID 2020 season.
I mean, I would have said, DVH would probably not argue with you if you said 25.
That's what I would say, at least 25.
He just made it look effortless in the scrimmages against his own pitchers. That's a big-time pop-up. Not too much wind today, so Rowland has a normal afternoon to make that catch.
He almost didn't move. I was talking about straight up the chute. A lot of times those balls will go up and have that back spin. They'll spin toward home plate. He did a really nice job with that. That's not an easy play.
Nick Rodriguez is singled, hit into a double play. He was their leadoff hitter last year. In fact, he hit a leadoff home run against the Razorbacks on April 25th in Springfield, which was part of a Bears win. They had won the last 2 matchups head-to-head last year, 8-4. A couple of years ago here, 6-4. And then they didn't play in 21 or 20, of course, so 19 before that was the last time they had met. Looks like a pretty good pitch. Called a strike, even though Rodriguez checked his swing. From a baseball powerhouse, Jesuit High School in Tampa, Charleston Southern transfer. One-two from Carter. Didn't quite have the break on that pitch that he wanted. Arkansas will shift with 2 strikes, although Carter was so quick, Sprague-Lott had to stop halfway to second base.
I was going to make it or not.
He started to run, he stopped, and then the pitch missed, and he kept on running. This ball's tagged to center. Wilmsmeyer on the move, and he'll get there. Outran that baseball. So Carter had a perfect 6th. We head to the bottom of the frame. It remains a 3-1 Razorback lead. Here's your game summary. Not a lot of hits, not a lot of runs, but Arkansas had a 2-run 5th to take the lead. Ben Bybee looked pretty good, though, today. 4 scoreless.
Yeah, he did. That was a really good start for Arkansas, especially when the bullpen's a little thin. Dylan Carter's come in and done a nice job. We've seen Cody Frank up in the bullpen a little bit. Ognoxus has got his lay working.
Yeah, well, he certainly does. For Nolan Souza, who twice has rolled out to Rodriguez at second. You know, it feels like to me that every coach Arkansas has played in the last couple of months is asked about this Razorback team. And they almost, to a man, say exactly the same thing. They talk about the power arms coming out of that bullpen. They talk about the balance. Coach Gutton had a comment last night to some of the writers in the paper today that I felt like it was exactly what Bianco said, exactly what Jay Johnson said. He went on to say, quote, they don't have a lot of double-digit home run guys, but they've got a very productive offense. They run well. They're hard to strike out. They play good defense. And all of that combined with great pitching, that's a pretty good team.
Yeah, it really is. And you just hope right here that Eric Loomis is okay. He just, after that pitch, just went down.
Yeah, he reacted as if something was wrong.
That's just not a good sign.
And this is one of those, even if he says, I'm okay, you say, young man, that's it for the day. And you know, we saw him just compete. A 12-pitch at bat against Vahiva Loy to get the strikeout. And yeah, that's going to be it for Loomis. And Right now, that heart's beating. And let's take one more look, Troy. I didn't exactly see it. Just that recoil of that arm, right?
Yeah, it just almost went dead on him right there. You can tell he's trying to get his composure, and it's like that pain is just too much. And the last pitch was 93. It still had the velocity there, but man, something gave way. And
boy, you feel for the young man. I mean, it just.
You just hope maybe that's just like some pinched nerve or something.
You hope that that's not the elbow
UCL.
or the arm, and you've seen it a time or two. The Bears are going to have as much time as they need for their reliever to get loose. This is why I send Captain Caden about 100 different things to play. We may jump into those in a moment, but Jake Syverson, who pitched last night, is going to throw, but we'll step aside, come back with a new pitcher in a moment. During this long pitching change, let's take you back this weekend for Charlie Condon. Troy, what an amazing stretch. He hit his 29th homer of the year, his 54th of his career, both setting Georgia records. You saw 4 outfielders out there doing that swing.
Yeah, just hit him over him.
It hit him over him. Gordon Beckham was the previous record holder, considered the #1 prospect in the 24 draft. He's hitting a home run every 5.76 at bats. Barry Bonds in his big year, 2001, was homering every 6.5. Condon's every 5.76. Wes Johnson said, "I'm speechless." Could be the highest draft pick in school history. That was Jeff Ryburn, who was 5th. How about the numbers comparing him to Pete Incaviglia?
Yeah, he had some juice back in the day, no doubt about that. You see the 48 home runs for Incaviglia. I think that record still holds in the NCAA record books. But, yeah, Charlie Condon's special. And the thing about him, he can play a lot of different positions. He's about 6'5", 6'6", and he's played some outfield. They moved him to first base. Just super athletic player.
I mean, 70 grade power, and many think he could go first, second, third, whatever the case may be. Arkansas doesn't face Georgia. Maybe we'll see them later on. They know we'll see Kentucky this weekend, and this is a team that likes to run. How about this play against South Carolina? They just to show you a little bit about what they like to do. Watch this, Troy. The runner at first is going to take off and then fall down. He gets the attention of the pitcher, while the runner at third is stealing home, and then you get the steal at second.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's a design play. The runner comes off at first base, acts like they fall down to get the pitcher's attention, and then that runner takes off from third base. But they completely fooled South Carolina in that play.
So after the delay, Souza comes back in the box with a count of 0-2 against Syverson. Arkansas has stolen 34 bases all year before Roland got loose today with number 35. Kentucky has 92 as Syverson pitches again. So it's going to be a different series in Lexington this weekend.
You wonder if you're Hudson White or Parker Rowland, the catchers for Arkansas, and do you get a little amped up with?
I would hope.
With you've got potential of a lot of big base stealers. Big strikeout right there by Syverson.
He gets Souza for the first out in the 6th inning. Here's your top 10 matchup. Arkansas, Kentucky coming up Friday, 6:30. Those games, I think they're all on SEC Network Plus. Cats looking to get back on track. Remember, they lost 2 straight SEC series. The last was in Columbia. They got run ruled in Game 3. Really disappointing to lose that first game when they had a 4-1 lead going to the bottom of the 9th and had a lead going to the bottom of the 10th. Peyton Holt will lift one in the air to left. Back to the wall. That's gone. Woo pig. Peyton Holt hits his 3rd home run of the season. And Arkansas has a 3-run lead. Tell you what, you put this kid in the outfield, he makes plays. You put him in the batting lineup, and he does the same. I didn't even know if he got fully extended or got that off the hands a bit.
No, he didn't hit that one square, but he caught just enough of the barrel. And again, we talked about the ball flying out to left field. I think it might have got in on his hands just a little bit. Hey, but it was enough to get it out. How about 352 for the distance into the hog pen?
But that was 90 off the bat. You rarely see a home run at 90 miles an hour. Exit
30-degree launch angle, so he got it up in the wind just a little bit.
Just had a different sound to it.
Yeah, it sounded like a jam shot a little bit.
Here's Roland. Parker has scored 2 runs. Rowland lifting one in the other left center field. Bogenpole turning and running, and he's not going to get there. And Parker Rowland has been on base all 3 times, a single, a walk, and now a double to go along with a stolen base and 2 runs scored. So DVH playing the right guys here in this midweek game behind the plate and in left field.
How about Parker Rowland, the offensive spark plug for the Arkansas Razorbacks today? That ball was struck well, and it looked like Bogenpole had a chance to make that catch, and it just continued to slice away from him.
Felt like he was too shallow, though, didn't it? Maybe at the beginning of that sequence?
It just had a lot of carry to it. I think there's a little bit more wind blowing out to left field than the crosswind we're so used to.
Well, Wilmsmeyer is 0 for 2, flew out to center in his last AB. That pitch right down the chute for a called strike. So it's a 4-1 Arkansas advantage. Good stop by Bergman. Remember, Syverson came into this game after Loomis threw a couple of strikes and kind of grabbed at his arm to Souza, and then Syverson inherited that count but got the K, and he's allowed a homer and a double since.
Seems like teams are really working Ty Wilmsmeyer away, like breaking balls away, fastballs away. He does have some pop, but it seems like the MO of the scouting report against Ty Wilmsmeyer. They see the catcher setting up away as well.
Yeah, right there, just seeing if he might chase. Wilmsmeyer choking up on that bat, about an inch at the bottom of that weapon.
It's a big hole between first and second.
Tell you what, that looked pretty good.
Wilmsmeyer was about to head back to the dugout on that one.
I thought that was going to be the call. And a 3-2 pitch on the way. Flagged nicely by Sutherland. And a good throw to first. And when you're trying to get that base hit, that's what happens as well, right? You think you have one into left, and Sutherland makes a really nice play.
That was great range by Sutherland over there at third base. He
I
covered
like
a
the
lot
throw.
of ground and spun and made a really accurate throw. That is not easy when you're doing a 360 and you're trying to pick up your first baseman of where to aim for.
Back to the top of the lineup for Stovall. He has 3 hits and 2 of them.
Exit velocity combined about 45.
Yeah, he barely dribbled him into play, but he's 3 for 3, so he's living right. Now you get greedy, you want a 4th. That's what the great Tony Gwynn used to say, and George Brett. You know, you're 2 for 2, 2 for 3. Some guys might say it's a good day, that's fine. The great ones want that extra hit.
That's right.
Through the legs of Syverson into center for a base hit. Can Rowland score again? Here he comes to the plate. Parker Rowland has been active today. He scored 3 on the 4th hit from Peyton Stovall. And the catcher can't even hide a smile. He's been scoring from second on everything.
Right back through the box, and it looked like that Missouri State's going to knock that ball again. Rowland, he's gassed. See if he gets a good break right there. There are 2 outs. Rowland gets waved around.
He scored from
I'm
second
telling
3
ya.
different times and picked up his first career stolen base in the game.
He was chugging.
You see that smile at the very end? I love that, because you know somebody's already kind of heckling him from the dugout, and you kind of play it off for a few steps, and then you just can't hide.
Yeah, you just can't keep it in. The poker face just loses it. Holt giving him a hard time right there.
Yep. McLaughlin has walked, but he's 0 for 2 officially. Coach Gutton said after the game last night, the big inning has been their nemesis this year. And, you know, sometimes when you're 18 and 25, just finding some consistency out of your bullpen is difficult. and you can be in games maybe for 6 or 7 and see them kind of slip away late.
Yeah, I think that, that's kind of the difference of these two teams. We talked about the offense of Missouri State. The Bears can really swing the bat. They got some guys that have some big-time homer and power, 3 guys in double digits. But it's the depth of that bullpen. What a great break by Peyton Stovall. Whoa, he did not slide and got thrown out. What a deke right there by Epstein.
When it looked like he was going to coast into second base, he went in standing, and he's out to end the inning. Well, Troy, Arkansas did get a couple of runs.
Big swing by Peyton Holt. Didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it to hit it in the hog pen. The kid just keeps swinging the bat. Hogs up 5-1.
Troy, let's go back and look at how this inning ended.
It's a good read by Peyton Stovall, but you can see the shortstop. He's just playing that one off pretty cool, and Stovall doesn't slide. I think he slides. He's safe easily. You can see him really slow up right there. He just kind of pulled on the parachute, and he was not expecting that tag. That just tells you you just can't give up on a play.
We're seeing some dekes this week here at Baum Walker. The one thing that does, though, from Epstein, it just gets your team off the field. You had kind of a terrible-looking injury from a pitcher, and then Peyton Holt hits a home run, and all of a sudden a couple of runs are scoring, and the game's getting away from you. It allows you to get out of the inning.
Well, you save some pitches.
That too.
Right there for Syverson.
And Carter's going back out for a third. We mentioned Arkansas was a little bit thin because early in the game yesterday when it was 9-0, you felt like this could be a 7-inning game, and maybe a couple of guys like Gackle or Faraday or Coyle might not get in, and you'd have them for today. I think they wanted to throw Gackle yesterday. Sutherland lifting one to center, and Wilmsmeyer there, shading his eyes, and he's got it for the first out. But Carter's been economical. Why not see if he can get through 3? That's what he did last year at times.
Yeah, I think so. He was kind of the Will McIntyre of the season a year ago. He just would go in there and just eat up some innings. Arkansas does have Cody Frank throwing down in the bullpen.
I was wondering if we might see him today.
It's going to be an offensive timeout right here by the Bears. They're going to Logan Chambers with the big swing for the Bears. They've only have 4 hits, and boy, he got a hold of one and hit it over the boards out in right center field. Here is Logan Chambers. That's a swing, that great extension on that one. Just got it out. Kendall Diggs ran out of real estate out there.
Lost his hat, too. Third home run of the year for Chambers. He's the only Bear to reach third base in this game. High fastball is up and out of the zone. That high strike has not been one that Sean Arthur has liked today.
Nope, that's kind of been a focus of in SEC games. You see that quite a bit in league play.
Wave and a miss for strike 1. What was the note in the paper today that Chambers was kind of the source of some consternation between Tony Vitello and DVH when he was coming out of Crowder? Could that have been the discussion point during that interesting post-game
could have been
exchange?
I don't know if they were exchanging pleasantries.
They were.
It didn't seem like it.
Talking about which bottle of wine they might prefer after a long series. I don't know. Hard hit through the shift. Chambers has barreled up some balls, though.
He really has.
This week.
Some really quality at-bats, and McIntyre still has the bragging rights, but
yes,
Chambers can brag about it. He said, hey, I maybe didn't get you, but I've got your teammates.
Isn't that something? Chambers has 4 hits and 3 runs batted in and a homer. Feels like he's having a good series back in his home state. McIntyre can still say, I got you. I struck you out. Long-time buddies. There's Bergman, hit by a pitch by review at his last plate appearance. Hawks trying to win to go to 39-7. We still have a handful of teams in the single-digit loss category, and they're obviously the teams at the top of the rankings. And I think we get through another 7 days or 8 days or so. There's a chopper that is fair. Past the glove of Sprague-Lott, down into the corner off the bat of Bergman, just his second hit of the year. Chambers to third. He'll stop on the double from Bergman. And there's Bears at second and third with one gone. I was about to say, though, we might see a few of these teams start to get to that 10-loss plateau right now. Team's still hanging tough.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to bring DVH out of the pen, and that might do it for Dylan Carter. Just kind of a ball hooked down the line. Sprague-Lott's playing off the line just a little bit. Holt digs that one out of the corner, and Bears have got something working here. Only one out, and runners on second and third.
Getting close to bringing that tying run to the plate. Pitching change at Bum Walker. Back in a moment.
The excitement that surrounds this tournament, the best conference tournament in all of college baseball.
Save me, so my bones have been aching.
Oh, he tattoos it!
Time to make a stand.
Man, I'm all jacked up. Let's get to Hoover.
The Kung Fu kick makes me laugh. I don't know why. Anyhow, Hoover coming up May 21st through the 26th. Opening round semifinals of the SEC Network Championship game set for Sunday. See which two teams might be left standing at the end of the week. Have you been to Hoover for the tournament?
Not for the tournament. Got to see Michael Jordan play in that stadium when he played for the Birmingham Barons.
Remember who his manager was?
I do not.
Come on.
Should I have remembered?
You should.
I do not remember.
Terry Francona.
Oh, man.
Good one. Here's Cody Frank on to pitch the third for the Razorbacks.
Mustache is gone. Throwing me off. Almost didn't recognize Cody Frank. You're going to see Frank sitting about upper 80s with the fastball. Big sweeping breaking ball, and he'll mix in a changeup, especially the left-handers as well.
He was touched up for the grand slam by Caglione on Saturday afternoon into the evening.
Long ball right here, and it's going to get interesting.
I beg your pardon. That was Dawson. But I think Frank is probably in that category of maybe a McIntyre where you'd love to kind of see a positive inning to kind of, I don't know if get you back on track is the right phrase, just to
gain some confidence.
Yeah, that can't hurt. Doesn't matter how long you play this game. We'll all take a little more.
Talk about how mental baseball is.
Pitch again near the top of the zone, but not called a strike.
That's a big difference. When you're either a hitter, you're either 1-1 right here like it is, or 0-2.
Wilmsmeyer's been shading his eyes on a tough sky with that glove, and he'll make the catch. But he didn't have a chance whatsoever on Chambers, who just easily trots home and scores the run and the sac fly. So Wilmsmeyer just put it away and content to keep Bergman at second base.
Productive at-bat by Epstein. That's what you love out of your 9-hole. Hey, if you can go up there and give me a sac fly, we'll take that.
Because, again, you're a base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate.
There's that really big changeup that Cody Frank throws to those lefties. And how about this, Brett? How about a changeup that has 21 inches of horizontal break like that last pitch?
And he'll throw that right on right, right on left. This is a play for somebody. Who wants it? Well, Jared Sprague-Lott took it and made it to end the inning. So Bogenpole retired. Bears going to run. We're going to stretch him out. It's now a 5-2 game. Well, the SEC Now team will be at the SEC softball tournament at the Jane Moore Softball Complex in Auburn next Tuesday through Thursday with game previews, post-game breakdowns of each first round and quarterfinal game, because nobody covers like the SEC like we do. You can always watch SEC Now on the ESPN app from anywhere. So it's about time to crank up the softball tournament next week. That always feels early to me, and I know they're ahead of baseball, but
yeah, it does feel early.
Sure does. Here's your softball standings. The Volunteers and Aggies and Gators ahead of the Razorbacks, but it is a dogfight right there in that 3 through 6 range.
That's a lot of teams in the top 20. A lot of SEC teams in there. This is going to be Curry Sutherland, the third baseman, moved to the mound. The Bears are going to pull Logan Chambers from the DH spot, put him into third base. How about these numbers on Curry Sutherland? He's only thrown 4 innings. 3 punch-outs. He does have 5 walks. How about opponents hitting .077 against him? Righties hitting 100, lefties hitting 0. I know he's only thrown 4 innings, but lefties hitting 0? Let's see what Ben McLaughlin does right here.
Well, in his high school season, he struck out 71 in 34 innings as a senior. So, obviously, got a little bit of a pitching background.
He'll run that fastball up 93, 94 miles an hour.
McLaughlin, Sprague-Lott, and Diggs, 2, 3, and 4. Sutherland is a Missouri native, even though he was born in Tupelo, home of Elvis. McLaughlin 0 for 2 with a walk.
Boy, straight over the top.
Arkansas is not exactly in a comfortable spot in this game with a 3-run lead.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played.
3-0.
McLaughlin, he is very patient at the plate, not afraid to take a walk.
Threw him a breaking ball, 3-0.
Yeah, just to try to find the zone.
You know, he's going to walk 50 times this year, Troy.
That's a lot of walks. How about on-base percentage? Yeah, 467 for Ben McLaughlin. He's been hitting 2 or 3 hole. That's a nice on-base percentage for a guy right in the middle of your lineup or toward the top.
See Sprague-Lott's day. That's 5 in a row that have missed from Sutherland. You know, you talk about guys that are two-way players in high school. Good pitchers, good position players. Oftentimes, with the exceptions of the Jack Toddies or whatnot, normally you get pushed to one or the other. And usually it's early. That's a strike over the inside corner. But for those who might kind of still dabble in the other side, like a position player who would pitch, it shows you how tough it is to find that rhythm and that motion.
Yeah, it really is, because if you're playing a position, it's a completely different arm slot and motion.
It's just not something you throw 10 warm-up pitches and you're like, I'm good.
Right.
One ball, 2 strikes to Sprague-Lott, batting 3-hole today. Two and 2. Arkansas has now outscored their opponents this year, 313 to 147.
Wow. That's just crazy.
Little blooper. Gonna drop easily. Sprague-Lott at an exit velocity of 61 miles an hour. He gets the base hit.
Just muscled that one out to right field. That's where the game gives one back to you.
You're right.
You hit one on the screws, you right at somebody, and then you hit a fister that just bloops right over the first baseman's head.
Just a little bloop.
I don't believe that they're going to be bunting Kendall Diggs right here.
No, but I tell you what, he got a sack fly in his last at bat with the bases loaded. He could use a little bloop just to drop and
I think so.
Provide a smile of sorts. It's a strike off that outside corner.
Seems like that's the way it goes when you're trying to scratch out and get something positive, and guy puts one on the outside corner.
Now it's 0-2, and Kendall isn't exactly thrilled. You come up there, you kind of reset mentally, and then you're in the box, and it's 0-2.
Yeah. A couple pitches outside corner. Now Sutherland's got an opportunity for a big strikeout right here.
You ever sit up there in a spot where it's 0-2 and you're hoping for a bad miss, not a borderline, just to kind of reset as well?
I think so. I think that helps you mentally.
Because if it's a borderline and you feel like a pitch is called a strike that you didn't like, you're almost jumpy.
Right.
You're thinking you have to offer
it. Out of the hand like that one right there, you just knew it wasn't going to be a strike.
And he was able to check on a pitch that was so far low it didn't hardly register on our apparatus. 2-2.
And Kendall was asking Sean Arthur, is double checking. I do have 2 strikes, right?
It's a wave and a miss. So Sutherland gets the K for the first out of the inning. That was another one that was down. That time he couldn't resist.
I think they haven't got a piece of the catcher.
Well, Sean Arthur walked that ball out towards Sutherland, and they were both giving Bergman a chance to kind of collect himself. Now, keep in mind, Bergman came in for Leach, who had to leave the game yesterday.
Might have been some just dirt in the eye on that ball that was down in the dirt, just kind of popped up some dirt on that skip of the baseball. Yeah, Arkansas would love to add a little bit of cushion right here. You got a team that can hit the home run in the Bears.
And Vahiva's 0 for 3. If you take away the 4 hits from Stovall, Arkansas has 4 more hits.
Yeah, not a lot of offense. Can't even get it out.
Rowland and Stovall have combined for 6 of the 8. Boy, that pitch is not exactly breaking the way he would hope. Curveball's kind of rolling and backing up. There were a couple of pitches down that locked up Diggs, but
you really feel like Aloy's in the driver's seat. He saw that breaking ball really well right there. He might come out of his shoes on this one.
Would you turn him loose here 3-0? I think I might.
I think I would. You could see Vahiva kind of took a look into the dugout.
Remember, he swung 3-0 earlier this year, and Dave said he didn't do me right because he had a soft pop-up. Doesn't matter. Ball 4. 2 walks and a bloop single have loaded him up this inning. The Beer Hats come out again. You know, we talk a little bit about these Beer Hats, and the network guys had a lot of fun with it when Ravitch and Peterson were here. And I think we all kind of understand the origin, but the program they sell here at the ballpark actually explains it. Have you ever been able to dive into it?
Enlighten me.
Said it started in the 2000s by a group of diehard fans. There used to be a scoreboard animation that would show bases growing legs, meeting at home plate, and toasting beer mugs in bases loaded situations. So it used to be a bases loaded 5th inning promotion where had a chance to win $10,000 if the Hogs hit a grand slam. We actually had a grand slam yesterday, but it was in the 1st inning. So there's your origin of the animation from the scoreboard from the Beer Hats, Troy. Don't tell me you don't
talk
learn
to
something
Jimmy
every day.
Sanchez and see who came up with that idea to put it on the
right.
scoreboard. We got a new arm right
These
here.
are the yarns we can
Bears.
get into when the game is 5-2 and it's dragging just a bit. Pitching change back in a moment. This was last night before the game. DVH giving Coach Keith Gutton, 42 years as the head man at Missouri State, some fishing poles. I guess after the game he said he's not that big of a fisherman, so maybe he's going to have to learn in retirement. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because the next gift that came in, Coach DeBride is about to give him a umbrella from their time here. And now you can see it finally dawning on him what this is all about. You give me an umbrella after the 3 a.m. rain game. And there he goes.
That's pretty awesome.
You know, Mizzou gave him, I think it was kind of a nice painting, a mural.
Wow.
In Columbia a week ago. It was something else. It was nice.
The Bears bringing on Michael Lindsay. How about 6'7" junior? Goes 240 pounds. He'll set about 90 miles an hour with the fastball, throw a slider and a change as well. Straight over the top. So when you're over the top and you're 6'7", you're going to get some downhill tilt.
Boy, I'd say.
See the numbers on Lindsay right there. He's got the bases juice. He does have the 13 walks in 9 1/3 innings.
Nolan Souza is 0 for 3.
The center fielder doesn't see it.
Bogenpol sees this baseball, but it's up there a long time, and it's going to drop. Souza's going to get a base hit, and maybe a pair of runs batted in. The throw to third, and safe at third. The run scores. How about that bizarre 2-run single from Nolan Souza? Even had Eloy been out, I think the run would have scored first.
Well, I think there's just one out, the strikeout by Kendall Diggs, but I'm not really sure what this conference was. That's the other strange thing that happened, Brett, not only to the center fielder. Watch the center fielder right here. He never sees this ball. He puts his hands out to the side. That is Bogenpool out there. You can see it. There's the late reaction.
What could this conversation be about?
I'm not really sure, but here's what's crazy. Where is the third base umpire? He's in shallow left field. That's a really close play. You see the...
Okay, they're discussing the play at third. I thought the ball kicked out. But you're right, the third base umpire, the rotation was out of whack.
Yeah, it was out of whack. He was out in the outfield. I guess he was thinking that he should be seeing if that ball's a catcher or not out in center field. And
so even if Eloy's out, though, the run's going to score. That would just be the second out.
Yeah, just one out, yeah.
That's one of those balls, if you hit a little further, though, you might just see an inside the park home run.
Right.
Because Bogenpol never did see it.
That's
Here's
a great
the relay.
Eloy does the swim move. He pulls that left arm back.
He's safe.
I think he's safe. Yeah, that's a great slide by Vahiva Eloy.
Tell you what, if you're that far out of whack and that umpire's making that call and getting it right, you almost have to reward him and not overrule it.
That's Matthew Anderson out there at second base making that call from a long ways away.
Confirmed safe. That's a nice job to make up for a strange sequence. Souza's living well because he just got himself a 2-run single on that.
Those are 2 big runs, and
Muhalo.
That was the walk by Ben McLaughlin and the single by Sprague Lott come around to score. Some aggressive base running by Vahiva Eloy as well. Still just one out. This might be the inning of the big crooked number that the Hogs are looking for.
Holt homered last inning. It's now a 7-2 game. That one's not close. Roland on deck. He's been on base all 3 times. Stovall has 4 hits. There's the dangerous Parker Rowland, ready to inflict more damage on the Bears.
He's having a big game.
He is having a fabulous afternoon. 2-0 to Holt. That's down for ball 3.
Parker Rowland might give another big opportunity right here.
Might get a chance to bat if the base is loaded and the beer hat's out. Lindsey needs a strike, and he gets one. 6 pitchers have been used by the Bears this afternoon.
Really a slow start offensively for Arkansas. They played it a run in the 3rd, but how about 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th?
Just keep chipping away. Holt will foul one back at a play, and the count has gone full. Still just 1 out this inning. I guess you can start to think about the fact you can put up another 5 runs. You can call it good for the day.
Do you start Souza right here to stay out of the double play? You got a big 6-7 foot pitcher on the mound. He's only about 1-4 to the plate.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I think you put him in motion right here. Got a pretty good contact hitter in Holt at the plate.
He's looking at his watch and shaking off signs. He just keeps shaking off whatever they're putting down for pitch count. Sousa does run. That's ball 4, and here comes Parker Rowland with the bases loaded. Parker singled, doubled, walked, scored 3 times, and stolen his first career base.
Parker could have himself a career day right here.
You know, after you're in the dugout and you scored your 3rd run, you start to think, boy, could I even have a better day? And then you get to come up with the bases loaded in your next at bat. Well-placed pitch from Lindsey on the outside corner for strike 1.
Boy, the Bears would love to see a double play ground ball right here and just keep this inning to just 2 runs.
Again, Arkansas had 2 singles. One of those was a fly ball that should have been caught. And the other was a 60-mile-an-hour bloop off the bat of Sprague lot to right, and they've scored 2.
It's not been offensive juggernaut in this inning, but they've, like you said, scratched out a pair of runs. But
hey, that's a view.
That's pretty nice.
Unless you're sitting behind that duo. No place to put Parker Rowland. See if he gets something to hit. From the windup and the pitch. Rowland will shank one foul, stay alive. Fastball at 92 on the gun.
Good location, kind of down and in by Lindsey. Probably one of his best fastballs. He's been painting that outside corner, though. You might see him try to go back and nibble out there and just see if Rowland might expand that strike zone.
Next one is a little bit up and in. No activity in the Bears bullpen, so right now it's Lindsey's game. You don't have a hat? Hold your beverage. Fly ball to left field. Gollert coming in. He's going to make the catch. Aloy's going to tag. Here's the throw. It is offline. The run will score. The throw to third is going to be in time. One Hawaiian safe. The other's thrown out, but the run scores. And Rowland gets the sac fly to make it an 8-2 game. Arkansas scored 3 runs on a single that should have been caught and a bloop to right and some nonsense in between. Well, these last couple of games have been bark in the park ×2. Pooches are having a good time, even those wearing the Norm DeBryan jersey, I guess.
Got to represent, right?
I would say so. Hogpen was a little sloppy this weekend for the Florida series, but it's a pretty good place to be here in these last couple of games.
About 132 dogs in 2 games. That's got to be fun for fans to bring a pet out. There's no guilt leaving them at home. Just bring them out there and go to the hog pen.
8-2, Arkansas in front. Cody Frank got a couple of outs in the 7th, back to work in the 8th. Heart of the lineup. Wave and a miss by Cody Kelly.
I don't think anything that Cody Frank throws is straight. Fastball and changeup really dart away from lefties at that big sweeping breaking ball.
That's a tantalizing pitch. Three infielders on the right side of the diamond. Doesn't matter. Wave it a miss. Is that the change again?
That was a changeup.
Well, it's got so much movement that it gets you in two different ways, both the change in velocity and then, of course, the break.
Yeah, it's out of the same arm slot. Watch this thing dive down and away from Kelly, the left-hander. That's got some great movement.
Stewart's 0 for 3. Trying to hold back and just offered it a pitch.
Stewart thought he was going to get that changeup down and away, and he got the slider down and in, and it just
locked him up.
Really locked him up, yeah. Almost corkscrewed straight down in the ground. Stewart's one of those guys who can take a bad swing, the next hit one about 400 feet on you.
And he comes with the curve. He's throwing it all right now.
Man, he's throwing the kitchen sink at him.
Is that 3 different pitches in the sequence?
Yes. See if he comes back to the fastball. 1-2 right here.
Now he's throwing 4 different pitches.
That's the show me fastball right there. Now,
got to go change up, right?
I think you're going to go change up down and away.
See if he plays along.
Breaking ball down and in.
Strikeout completed with a throw to first. He went around the horn with his pitch repertoire.
I mean, he talking about using all sides of the plate, all levels of the strike zone.
That's just irritating if you're a hitter, isn't it?
Oh, man, yeah. You're up there and you're feeling like you're trying to hit a frisbee or like the old days, like a wiffle ball, a bottle cap. You just don't know which way it's going to go. Wiffle ball, I like that one.
Allard's 1 for 3.
And if you see a fastball, you're almost kind of stunned by it, but it still has a lot of run down and in.
Yeah, you're locked up because you're starting to think along with Frank on what he might throw. Curveball, slider, changeup. They'll be backing out of play. Not sure we've had a better couple of weather days this year than last night and this afternoon here at Baum Walker. I would say we were in the category of deserving a few. Let's hope that weekend series, well, first of all, the one in Lexington gets off without any problems. There's probably weather coming there, even though it's a turf stadium and field. And we can blow it out with a big series against Mississippi State in a couple of weekends. 2-2.
That's 3 straight ranked teams. What do I think? Kentucky's around 8. Mississippi State, I think they're 16 right now, and A&M number 1 on the road. So Arkansas is going to have some fun games.
Arkansas going to have a play here. Aloy racing over, but Sprague Lott got there first and put it away. There were 2 Razorbacks ready to make that play if there was an opportunity. Cody Frank had quite it in it. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 8-2 Arkansas. For the Razorback hitters, first 4 innings no bueno today. The next 3 looked a little better, even though they didn't exactly tear the cover off the ball in those innings either.
You combine all the 6 hits and exit velocities about maybe 200.
The drop fly ball that was never really seen, and Stovall had a couple of infield hits of his 4, but he has a chance for a 5-hit game. He's on deck. Lovich is going to hit for Wilmsmeyer to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Playing time's been a little bit difficult to find for Ross as of late. His last home run came in that Mizzou series on March 15th. That's when his brother was here with the Tigers. He told me that his brother broke his hand and was out for a little while, then DHing, and I think finally back to playing some first.
It's good to be young when those bones heal up pretty quickly. That was a pitch that Lovich would like back.
Quickly down 0-2. Arkansas here in the bottom of the 8th looking for a little bit of insurance. That did not take long. One gone. And Lindsey got the final out last inning. Final couple of outs. Well, Peyton Stovall has a chance for a 5-hit game.
That does not happen very often.
You know what might happen? He'll absolutely torch one that'll be caught after getting a couple of
that's
softer
exactly
hits.
right.
We'll see.
So
That averages.
It's helped that average for
Sure
sure.
has. Hard to move it this late in the year. He's done so. Raised to 20 points today.
The Bears are going to put the shift on.
Shift after the first pitch that was a ball.
That's a little late on the shift. I think it just caught everybody off guard.
Sort of a gentleman's agreement when you're up maybe by 6 runs late that you're not going to bunt for a base hit. So you're almost saying, we know you could, but probably going to swing away. You might start to wonder when was the last time a Razorback had 5 hits in a game. It's a couple of years ago. And it was done by Peyton Stovall, and he's going to do it again. The last 5-hit game was in the College World Series, but he's 5 for 5 this afternoon, and now he's going to take off to second base and make it safely.
Wow.
Fun day for Peyton Stovall.
What a
That was by far
play.
the hardest hit of the bunch.
Yep. How about 106 right back through the box?
Of the quintet, that was the hardest.
How much of a difference has Peyton Stovall made in this Arkansas offense that, has not been stellar all season long? And he was out for the first part of the season, but boy, he sure adds some thump and some consistency to the top of that lineup. He's just rounding pretty easy, and then he sees this miscue right there, and he's like, okay, you're going to give me the base? I'll take it.
There's McLaughlin. He's going to line one to short. Spear by Epstein. That ball was torched as well at 105, but at the wrong place. Would you ever consider moving Stovall to maybe the third spot in the lineup? I know Arkansas wouldn't have that immediate answer as the leadoff hitter.
You can always throw Peyton Holt up there.
That's what I was wondering, especially against lefties maybe?
Just another guy, an RBI guy, and Stovall, the way he's swinging the bat, about want more guys on base when he comes up.
Sprague Lott batting. And Lindsey gets a strike on the outside corner. And Jared's 1 for 3 with a walk. Arkansas has had the same number of hits in each game, 10.
A couple pretty good pitches by Lindsey. Seen out of the wheelhouse of Jared Sprague Lott.
Top of the zone, but called ball 1.
This Baumwalker crowd's gotten eerily silent.
I would say it's a little bit comatose right now. Jared able to check on a pitch that's down and out, 2-2. Bears will jump back into league play to host Murray State this weekend in Springfield.
They the Racers?
Go from the Razorbacks to the Racers.
Racers, yeah.
Speaking of some college teams. I got a note for you when we come back. But Sprague Lock K's after Stovall got his 5th hit. We go to the 9th inning. We go to the 9th inning. 8-2 Razorbacks. A couple of youngsters having a good time. The old ballpark. Here's what's ahead. Weekend series at Kentucky. Home against Mississippi State. Both of those are Friday, Saturday, Sunday sets. And then at A&M, which I would guess would be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday before going to Hoover.
Yep. Every year, every school is going to play the Thursday, Friday, Saturday because the SEC tournament starts on a Tuesday. It does not take long between the last weekend and getting down to Hoover.
Cody Fank has retired all 5 that he's faced. Trying to finish off this game. We did have a couple of wild games yesterday in college baseball. Did you see LSU scored 26 runs against Port Grambling? They had 13 runs in the 4th inning.
Wow.
That was quite a day.
Does it say how many batters they put up there? That's got to be like 20.
Got to be close. It was nothing to what Austin P did against somebody. Somebody with a bear-type logo.
Uh-oh.
High in the air, deep right field off the bat of Nick Rodriguez, and that is off the windows and the picnic tables and gone. So Rodriguez homers leading off the 9th to make it an 8-3 game. Frank was victimized by that Caglione grand slam the other day. He really looked good in the hitting plus, but Rodriguez got him.
That pitch is not even a strike. Watch how low this thing is. Rodriguez just goes down and golfs this one out. About 103 off the bat. Way up on the building. Ricocheting off tables up there.
Yeah, ricocheted around a little bit of everything up there and dropping.
I think we got a pinch hitter right here, Brett.
Jelani Rogers. He is from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. From Florida Gulf Coast through Santa Fe College. But Austin P played yesterday, Troy, and they won the game 35-1.
Wow.
Seems like a lot, doesn't it? 5 touchdowns and extra points.
35.
35
Sounds like a
1.
8U game or something. Surely it was in 7 innings, but still 35 runs?
They hit a lot of home runs to the Austin P boys. Let's go P. The 1-2 to Rogers has popped up. One infielder on the right side of the diamond. That is McLaughlin. And he'll make the catch for the first out in this 9th inning. Well, Logan Chambers homered back in the 5th, also singled and scored in the 7th.
He's been seeing the ball big and hitting it hard.
Alabama A&M was the opponent in that 35-1 shellacking. Chambers trying for his 5th hit this weekend, or this 2-game midweek series.
That would do some damage to your ERA, wouldn't it? Your team ERA? How
How
many of those were earned?
Unless you had a
sure.
couple of 2-out errors or whatever. Arkansas had a game this year where they defeated Arkansas State 13-0, and all 13 of their runs came with 2 outs. But I believe most of those were earned. 2-0 pitch to Chambers is in there for strike 1 call.
Chambers still using the sunglasses, even though the field's completely shaded.
Did he offer? No. Quick appeal, and Jason Blackburn at third says no swing, so it's 3 balls and a strike to the DH, who then moved to third base after the third baseman Sutherland came on to pitch. And a 1-out walk.
Arkansas does have Cooper Dossett thrown down in the bullpen.
Parker, rolling out for a conversation. Arkansas's used just 3 pitchers. Remember, a night ago they had 8. And got 15 strikeouts from the 8 pitchers. We told you that Colin Fisher isn't going to pitch for the next week and getting some evaluations, and Dietz will be out for the year. And then you use 8 yesterday in a big series coming up. So, you get to a point where you just want quick outs at some point. And I think we've lapped that situation.
Yeah,
we've got there.
But the question is, I know they'd really like Frank to finish this out, but if you're Cooper Dossett, he's been throwing really well except for yesterday, and you almost wonder if you want to bring him in just to let him see if he can't, again, get a little more confidence.
Pitch in the dirt to Bergman. At some point when you heat up a guy and he's warming up in the bullpen, it's the same as pitching in a game.
You might as well bring him in if you're already hot.
Either that or you hope for a couple of quick outs here so you can sit him right back down.
Catcher's indifference as the runner took second base.
I'm indifferent to the indifference. But Arkansas still needs 2 more outs. Trying to get that 39th win against 7 defeats. Also stay undefeated in the midweek games. Tag to center. Holt had moved over to center from left as Lovich went into left field, but now 2 outs. And the Bears down to their final out. He's everywhere, isn't he? Peyton Holt?
The ball just finds him, doesn't it? He's involved in something. Talking to fans out there, making friends.
I bet in elementary school in the dodgeball and PE, I bet he was a menace. Taking people out, bouncing around the gym.
The class on one side and Peyton on the other. He'd probably win.
Epstein had a sac fly and a sac bunt already today. Shoots one out to right. Diggs on the move, still running, leaping, and he can't make the catch. It's over his head to the fence. Chambers will score. Epstein drives in his second run of the game, and it's now 8-4. Kendall was a little bit shallow, and he gave it a great go, but he tried to leap at the end, and the ball just carried beyond his reach.
That's a difference on one of those really windy days. It's probably going to hang up there where Kendall runs that ball down, but really good backspin right there by Epstein. Just had a lot of carry on it. Made a pretty good play on that off the fence. Arkansas is just going to let Epstein take third base.
More indifference as Bogenpaul will wave and miss. Leadoff hitter for the Bears is 0 for 4 in the game. Again, Missouri State down to their final out in the 9th inning. Well, this is where the indifference hurts that earned run average just a bit. And the wild pitch will plate the run. So it's 8-5.
It's getting a little interesting.
Takes 2 more base runners, and that would bring Stewart to the plate, who's their most feared batter. Yeah, that look, I think, said a lot. As if to say, we need 1 more out. 2-1. Got a pair of 3-hour games here with the Bears and the Razorbacks. Want to wish Coach Gutton the best going forward for the remainder of this series and his retirement. Big wave and a miss. Again, the Bears down to their final strike and out.
What a career for Coach Gutton. He's just
level of consistency.
Did it the right way. Yeah, just high class. Just great program.
The 2-2 is cut on and missed. That's strike 3. The game is over. Razorbacks finished 12-0 midweek. They're now 39-7, and Peyton Stovall Troy led the way with a 5-hit game.
Yeah, great game for Peyton Stovall. This is Arkansas just taking care of business. I know these 2 games weren't the prettiest games, but hey, they look good in the book. And those are some 12-0 in midweek games. That is just just great consistency out of this program.
Hawks will be off to Kentucky this weekend. We'll be back the following weekend for a handful of games against Mississippi State. So that'll do it this afternoon. Game on May 10th will be our next telecast. For Troy Eklund and our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolden, thanking you for tuning in. Once again, our final score, the Hawks take down the Bears 8-5. Time for dinner. So long, good afternoon, and good evening from Baum Walker in Northwest Arkansas.